The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack. This like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is Monday, October 21st, 2024. I am your host, Scott. Of course, you know where to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on all social media platforms, and you can follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. Man, you can get in tune with our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. You take your phone right now up to the screen and take you to the QR code, which takes you to the link. There's 4 different tiers. You know, you got the I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, Summer Session, 79th and Hallis. But if you want everything we offer on the Patreon, you can subscribe to the Barbershop All Access tier, which is the $10 holla. And for everybody who subscribes, first-time subscribers will get a 25% off discount on the Barbershop Network merchandise shop, and that is bcnetshop.com. Get your I'm Not Gonna Hold You merch, 79th and Hallis, everything we got up on there. Shout out to everybody who has put in their orders. We've been trying to get it to you in a timely fashion, so we appreciate everybody who has done that, man. We've got a very booked show for y'all today. It is the NBA season catching up. Debuting tomorrow on TNT, the final season of basketball on TNT. So we've got a packed show. We've got the homie Kaz will be joining us in just a minute. We've got Pavy will be back with Weekend in the Association, and the homie Big Wos will be joining with Pavy and Weekend in the Association. We'll do a full NBA season preview, and we'll also probably talk about why Pavy was talking to me in London like the nigga lived there or something. So we gonna talk about that when he gets on here, man. But I'm gonna bring in my co-host Jar Bang and Dante. How y'all feeling right now, brothers?
Feeling good, man. How you feeling?
I am doing great. I enjoyed Red Zone, like stress-free. Actually paying attention to it last night. Had a good time watching football. We're gonna get to Jaden Daniels, the Commanders Reddit, who found this show over the weekend and called me everything but a child of God in the comments all
That's
weekend.
A small pocket of Marylanders.
A small pocket of Marylanders.
Because 93% of the people who live in the DMV in Maryland are Cowboys fans. I just want you to know that.
Okay.
Out of the 10 people that I met in DC, 2 of them was Commanders fans, and the rest of them are Cowboys fans. You could just go do a poll out there. You'll see more Cowboys fans than Commanders fans. They can't even get their name right.
Right, exactly. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jay Trinidad says, take off that hat and have some something. Brother, I'm taking my 10-year Los Angeles residency and I'm throwing it on the table. I'm going Dodgers. So yes, I'm having a hat on because I have banned the team that I grew up on until they sell that team, the White Sox. I gave them up 13 months ago. This has been if you're gonna bandwagon any team, at least bandwagon the team you actually lived in. I think that should be a rule. That I know what it's like. I've been to after sets sponsored by Crips. I've had late nights at Leo's Tacos. I've been to Delilah, nigga. I've been to all the LA things you could possibly be on. I've been stuck in the traffic.
By Crips fan?
Yeah, yes. On my first year at LA, I was doing a lot of shit. I had no idea about what the fuck I was doing. So yes, now hell no. But 2014, yes. Dante, how you feeling, brother?
I'm solid, bro. And as the every other week Atlanta Falcon fan, I know exactly what you mean. When you live somewhere, it just feels a little different,
Yeah.
So I get it. I picked the Yankees before the season started, so I will continue to rock with the Yankees.
I lived in the DMV for 5 years. All them teams could kiss my ass. And last one of them.
On Commanders Week. That's what we going.
You could clip that.
The only DC nigga we got love for is our quarterback, Mr. Caleb Williams. But let's just get right into it, man. We're gonna bring our first guest on. This brother has been on here a couple times. He is a friend of the program. You've not seen this guy, you've been on a rock somewhere. It's the homie Kaz, man. You can follow him at Kazeem on all social media platforms. He's with Fanatic Sports Books, Ringer Wrestling, NBC Sports. Does a whole bunch of things, man. Also co-host of Say Less with Kaz. Kaz, how you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Fresh off that championship glow for the New York Liberty. He was going through a lot of sports. I'm like, all right, Liberty, New York Liberty. Come on now. So I'm good, brother. How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Air smells better when we have a franchise quarterback. I haven't smelled this air before.
I can't relate, dog. I can't relate, bro. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I wish I could. The Jets can't hurt me no more, dog. They really can't. They really
Y'all wasn't excited about the Browning naval air?
Bro, hey, listen. When Aaron Rodgers came to the New York Jets, it was one of the greatest weeks of my life, bro. Like, Aaron Rodgers was traded to the Jets. Later that week, McAfee texted me. He's like, yo, you want to come on the show, talk about how much you love Aaron Rodgers? I'm like, hell yeah. So I'm all McAfee. And then later that week, I'm at the Garden. Who do I run into? But Aaron Rodgers himself. Give him a dap. I was like, yo, I was just on McAfee's show. Welcome to the city. I'm thinking everything is everything right now. But boy,
if I was going the way you thought it would.
It felt like us last year.
It's not going the way I thought it was. Listen, man. If I seen any sort of prosperity from the Jets, I think I'd be a little bit more hurt. But I think every Jets fan in the back of their mind was like, this could definitely go bad.
Right.
It's not like any of this is really shocking. It's like, all right, we got some great players, little people that's long in the tooth. But we really don't got a bona fide head coach that people respect like that. He already lost them for a season, tore Achilles. So who knows if he's ever. He came back against the Patriots game. He looked like old Aaron. I was all bought in. I'm like, all right, good. We got some. But man, the wheels have just come off of this thing quickly, and unfortunately, a lot of it has to go on Rodgers, man.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. The Jets defense. Obviously was the Jets defense and running obviously was the big thing coming into this team. Even before Rodgers got here, we knew they was going to run the ball well. We knew they was going to play some defense. And every single game, it was like, if we only had a quarterback, if we only had somebody to just get the ball, not even just throw 300, 400 yards, just get the ball where it needs to get to so the defense and the running can hold it down. Not only has Aaron Rodgers been mid, I won't say bad, but he's definitely just been mid this entire season. But the defense isn't as good as advertised, and the running game hasn't been as good as advertised. And it sucks that it feels like we wasted prime running years and defensive years with Zach Wilson and Mike White? Tim White?
It was Mike White. Mike White, yeah.
It's unfortunate. So yeah, not the best time to be a New York football fan right now. But we got everything else under control. We good.
I actually remember the Mike White game. I was actually at MetLife during the Mike White. I actually played the Bears. I don't remember much about that game because I spent 4 days in New York, so I was very hungover.
Hey, Mike White balled out though.
He balled out. He balled out in that game.
That Mike White era was very underrated.
Yeah,
very underrated.
For 3 games.
If you would have told me this time next year, I'd be yearning for the Mike White era. I'd be like, oh my God, something was going terribly wrong.
What's funny is last time we had you on, he was actually the week that everything was going on with the Bears and the FBI thing, and everybody was like, well, what was going on at Hallis Hall? And Justin Fields was speaking to us like, like we owed him money, and so much has changed in just this. I got a smile on my face. Very, very, very few times I have a smile on my face 6-7 weeks to the NFL season. I just want to get your opinion on from outside of you, because I feel like Chicagoans, we're like somebody who just got in a new relationship. Like everything they do is amazing. Like you hang up. No, you hang up. That's what Bears fans are for Caleb Williams right now. From your opinion, what have you seen from Caleb Williams in the 6 weeks that he's played?
I mean, I feel like anybody who's watched Hard Knocks, anybody who's watched USC football for the last several years, and even, like Wale's a really good friend of mine. So like he's known Caleb Williams for a while. He's seen him coming up at the DMV. He's not a name that's sort of popped up for a while. So knowing that he was going to be as good as he is and obviously becoming a Chicago Bear, the only thing you were thinking about was, is he going to mess this up? Is he going to be, is he going to be somebody whose hype doesn't really, meet up to everything that's been talked about him? And you could definitely see moments in the earlier part of the season where it's like, all right, like that wasn't the best opportunity. That wasn't the best situation. But at the same time, there's certain things that you see with certain quarterbacks where you're like, all right, that guy's a dude, right? Like there's certain moments where there's certain throws, there's certain, reactions to adversity. There's just things that great young quarterbacks have about them where you can live with the mistakes. So even though Caleb Williams wasn't playing that great in the first couple of games of the season, you still saw things that were like, all right, once he figures this whole thing out, he's really going to be a problem. And it took like 4 weeks, maybe 5.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, I say about if like from the objective point of view, I think he kind of turned it on in the second half of the Colts game. Where he threw some picks, but it was also like you saw kind of plays he was making. He had his first touchdown. Him and Rome started clicking. That to me is when it got better, because I was in Houston week 2, like, damn, is this like a continuous loop? Like, we're like, what is going on? Like, does it really matter who's under center? But then it slowly got back. With that deep throw to DJ Moore, I think it was against Carolina, I was like, okay, this is what I saw at USC. And then last week in London, which I always knew the Bears had a big fan base, but it's different when you see it in another country. Like it was a home game, dog. Like it was more of a home game than Soldier Field. So to see him go out there and put on a show, that's when I was like, okay, I know these are weak defenses, but he's doing what you're supposed to do against weak defenses.
You can only beat who's in front of you. And 4 touchdowns against the NFL team is 4 touchdowns against an NFL team. I kill for 4 touchdowns against any NFL team right now. So I don't want to hear about, who he was playing against. It was London, whatever. It's like, brother, a rookie throwing 4 touchdowns in any NFL game is impressive, no matter how you slice it. And with Caleb, he's definitely has an opportunity. And granted, everybody kind of fell in love with Jaden Daniels very early, which was understandable. I mean, he's balling as well. It was very easy to just kind of like look at Caleb Williams and be like, all right, like maybe he doesn't really have all the tools yet, but when you're a rookie, there are acceptable mistakes that you can live with. And Caleb Williams had so many acceptable mistakes in those first couple of weeks of the season, and y'all was still winning, that you just kind of felt like, all right, like they put something together over there. Now it's still early in the season; things can go off the rails anytime. But from what I've seen so far, that's kind of been my what I've seen from that Chicago team so far.
And I'll say this, and then we'll move to the New York sports, the New York side of things. But I think if I wasn't covering the team, I'd have been way more panicked. But since I've seen his progression literally from OTAs, he started slowing OTAs, started slowing rookie minicamp, and then he got it. I was like, this is par for the course. Like, he's a rookie. He's going to have a game where he look like a dumbass. Like, it's going to happen, especially the way our division looking. I mean, good Lord. It's like
it's murderers row in the North, man.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, exactly. But you see the progression he's making, man. But let's get to the New York side of things. The New York Liberty, man. That was an amazing sports night last night. I do not have YouTube TV, so I had WNBA up on the big screen. I had the Dodgers up on the iPad, and I had Sunday Night Football up on the Mac. And that game last night was going back and forth between the Lynx and Liberty. Finally won 67-62, despite Breonna Stewart and Serena having probably one of their worst games I've ever seen. They still able to bring it home. Loud crowd out there in Barclays. A lot of celebrities were out there. Tell me, what's the pulse of the city right now? How you guys are feeling? You know, we'll talk about the Yankees in a minute, but just tell me what this championship means to the city.
Well, the funny thing is, right, the WNBA has definitely gotten a ton of more nationwide attention because of the Caitlin Clark, the Angel Reese, all that stuff. But for the most part, the Liberty were still pretty popular in New York City, right? Like, it's the one WNBA team, so you don't really split the fan base, right? So even though, you know, it made it look different across the league, like there was always some pretty solid support for the Liberty in New York City. Definitely not like this year. I mean, I guarantee you Barclays Center has never been that loud last night.
Definitely not.
Definitely not, you know. But you know, it's beautiful, man. Like, we haven't had a championship parade here in almost
30 years,
16
almost.
years, 17.
I mean,
since really the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the last time we really had a parade. So, you know, our mayor Eric Adams just announced the parade at Canyon of Heroes. So, you know, that was the one thing I think people were wondering. It's like, all right, they played at the Garden for most of their franchise, but they're in Barclays Center. Like, is it going to be a Brooklyn parade? And I ain't gonna hold you. There was definitely that's the name of the show. I ain't gonna hold you. There was definitely
no pun intended.
There was definitely a big part of me that felt like if the parade was in Brooklyn, it wouldn't really feel like a championship parade in New York City. The fact that it's going to be at the Canyon of Heroes, where the Yankees go down, where the Giants went down, right, and in Wall Street and in the financial district in the middle of the city with the ticket tapes and all that, I know the energy is going to be incredible for the New York City there. And it's what I felt throughout this entire year. I said in the beginning of the year, the Liberty are going to start off the championship vibes in New York City. And then it's just going to be a steamroll of people like you, people from around the country being sick of New York sports because you was going to see so much high level, even if they don't go to the championship. You gotta understand, I'm 37 years old. I've seen so much mid in my 20s that I just wanted competitive sports. And now that you see that every team in New York matters, even the bad ones, you're gonna get sick of watching this for a while, but you gotta finish the job one way or another. So the WNBA championship finally coming to New York Liberty, one of the original teams in the franchise's history, in the league's history. It was beautiful. And low key, I love that the WNBA are petty as hell. Like, I love that the coaches talk shit.
Oh yeah, she went up there like we were robbed.
Dog, like, you know, every time like an NBA team loses the championship, they're always saying that's oh man, you know, it was the better team won. They were great. Yeah, like that. They say everything that's supposed to say. They are masters in coach speak in the NBA. The WNBA, they don't give a damn. Like, they are literally letting people have it. And to me personally, I love it. I love the fact that you give them bulletin board material. I love that it makes this victory that much sweeter, honestly. You think I give a damn who got fouled at the end of the game? You think I care?
Exactly.
You think I give a damn that people was getting cheated out of calls? I do not give a flying fuck. Okay, a championship. A championship came to New York City, and that's all that matters. You know?
That's actually the question that I have for you. But first, I got to do this real quick. The last time you was on the show, I told you that a certain WWE legend was COINTELPRO. Now, I know you still collect checks, but you can blink twice. You can tap the table twice. But it seems like that COINTELPRO thing was kind of right. When you listen to a certain presidential campaign and a podcast with a certain WWE superstar, say kind of right.
I mean, you ain't wrong. I definitely saw. But hey, I can't go against the male Beyonce, bro. I ain't doing that, though.
You are totally right on that. That's probably the only man in the world that, hey, it's like, all right, whatever.
Come on, son. Eyebrows. What are we doing? What are you like?
But question about just the win in general and what you kind of just said. Like, how big of a New York fuck you, which is different than any fuck you in the world, is the Liberty giving the Lynx and their head coach for getting on the podium and complaining about a call and saying that she feels like this title was taken from him. Like, it feels like New Yorkers is like, fuck you.
Look at it. You see this? You see this? You see this? You see this? You see my eyes? Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Wasn't nobody saying nothing about, that over the back call that was missed in game 3? Yep. Wasn't nobody saying nothing when you had every opportunity to close the door after stealing a win in game 1 in Barclays Center. And Sabrina Ionescu and Stewie were shooting tour dates yesterday. Just the worst shooting you will ever see. If you can't take advantage of the second best player on the opposing team shooting 1 for 20, 1 for 20, dog.
You got nobody to blame but yourself.
You got nobody to blame but yourself. And you are not going to get any sympathy from starving New York fans who haven't seen any championships around here in any sport for at least the past 15 years. So too bad, so sad. Catch you next year. We'll see. just run it back. Just run it back.
And it was dope to see all the the New York Sport Court Spike was there. I love the video I saw on Jadakiss's Instagram when he was linking up with Brianna Stewart after the game. I think they were at a bar, whatever the party they had. That was. I'm
about to say they got lit last night. If you saw them on Good Morning America this morning, I was
they were tired. They had them a good night. Yeah, them a good night.
To look.
Let's talk about the team that's probably the biggest team in the city. I'm guessing the New York Yankees, who we know them in my childhood. The Yankees will always win. One of my first baseball memories was watching Derek Jeter win championships. You know what I'm saying? And A-Rod, I don't care. No, I'm always an A-Rod fan. I'm sorry. When I'll always be an A-Rod guy. But his, them winning in 2009, it's been a long time. This is, one championship in 24 years. They've made it back to the World Series to play the Dodgers. Just tell me what it's been to kind of just watch, kind of like this new era, kind of like in 2017, they're called the Baby Bombers. Aaron Judge just got there. They got Giancarlo Stanton the next year. How they've been with the different disappointments they've had, and kind of the Yankee mystique has been gone for a while. To have it come back, and now they're back in the Fall Classic.
I'll tell you this, man. I listened to a ton of New York radio, sports radio on the way to the office and back and forth. And if you didn't watch the actual Yankee games every day, you would think this is one of the worst teams in baseball. There's no level of appreciation for this team that doesn't result in championships. And I think that's a little unfair, right? You're putting the expectations of literally a century's worth of greatness in the franchise on different people who had nothing to do with that. Yeah. And there's those weird, trust me, I'm a Yankees fan. I love the Yankees. But there's so many of these weird old head traditionalists that with the sideburns and you can't do this and you can't say that and that's not the Yankee way. I always thought that was complete BS, man. And I think it was definitely not a coincidence that this year was the first time you kind of saw the Yankees let their hair down a little bit, right? They trade for Jazz Chisholm, a guy who, no offense, I don't think would have been Yankee material a couple years ago. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he came in with the swagger and the confidence and just sort of that energy that I think the Yankees franchise needed. If you're a free agent that's about to sign a $700 million deal, why would you sign to a franchise that the only satisfaction you get is by winning a World Series, and that's the standard? I loved that they celebrated making the playoffs, celebrated winning the ALDS, celebrated last time. There was so many people in New York City and New York City media that was like, you aren't supposed to celebrate anything but the championship. The championship's the only thing that's worth celebrating. If you're a baseball player, what fun is that? What is the fun in that? If you can only celebrate winning the biggest thing that, you could win. It almost feels like it's a birthright
Yeah.
for a Yankee. And I just didn't think it was it's no coincidence that the year that they finally got to chill out a little bit and be themselves and party and drink and smoke some weed in the locker room, do all that type of shit, like the year that they actually acted like actual baseball players that we see in other franchises, they're going to the World Series. So
Yeah.
obviously this is always going to be a Yankee town. The standard of excellence here is high, but now that they're here, that standard is up there again. It's not going to mean anything if they lose. It's not going to mean anything if the Dodgers wax them. So now it's time to finish the job.
What do you think about, like, from a for people who are casual baseball fans? Well, I think it's a lot of people. I feel like MLB now is kind of more of an acquired taste, but I think this is the best case scenario for them. Where, of course, you got the two biggest cities, but you got all the star power. You got the Aaron Judge, you got the Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, you got Mookie, you got Shohei, and you got, well, hopefully, if Freddie Freeman can get healthy enough to actually contribute. You got that. Do you think this will help bring more eyes to the league, or is just something that, it's still baseball and people aren't going to care about it too much?
I think it's going to bring a lot more eyes. I think if you're the commissioner of Major League Baseball, this is a dream scenario for you. You got the two teams with the most star power and Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. On the other side, you got Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Jazz Chisholm. Luke Wheeler now is turning into a star closer for the Yankees. It's definitely one of those things that I've always thought baseball was the ultimate perfect casual sport, right? Like, it's an easy sport to follow. Ball, strike, you're out, home run, single, double, triple. Easy sport to follow. Football, I can understand you're watching the game, you're like, what the hell's going on? Basketball is probably a little bit easier of a casual sport to watch because anybody can play basketball. And baseball is like the ultimate spectator sport. And you got the two biggest markets in the sport representing, who's going to win the world championship. So I definitely could see baseball rising in popularity because of the Dodgers and the Yankees being in the World Series. This is what you want if you're running a league. You want the team with the most popular players and the most notable names fighting for your highest honor, the biggest prestige that you can get. So I think it's going to be great for baseball, man. There was a time where nobody was checking for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who was in the World Series. And now it's very easy to catch up, turn on Fox or turn on TBS and know the Yankees, know the Dodgers, and just be enthralled with it.
I'm also glad too that people really getting to see how good Shohei Ohtani is. Like, for somebody who lived in LA for a long time, like, Anaheim's not LA. Like, they had him like in a corner. Like, he actually played for the Dodgers. You got posters, you got billboards him on the 405. They're making murals on him. Like, you can really see just how good he is. And I think this World Series is gonna put a big spotlight on him, man. Last time before you
pitches.
that would be amazing if he could.
Yeah.
Last topic, definitely not least. I know this is your favorite team, the New York Knicks. Having a great year last year, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Got too hurt towards the end, which us Bulls fans we can relate to with having Tibbs as a coach. I've been through that my entire life, but got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now this year, there's more expectations. Trade happened out of nowhere. I had to double check my phone when it happened. I thought this was a fake Woj or something.
I thought I got sent.
Yeah, exactly. Karl Anthony Towns coming to the Knicks. Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo sent to Minnesota. Now, as somebody, obviously I'm a Bulls fan, so I'm not a Knicks fan, but I love the trade. And there's a lot of Knicks fans who kind of conflicted. Like, I don't know. We know to play in New York, to play in Philly, play in Chicago, you have to be of a certain caliber because these fans will not tolerate soft shit. But I see from a basketball perspective, I think this took y'all from being an Eastern Conference contender to being a NBA championship contender with the caliber of player that Karl Anthony Towns is. Tell me what you feel about the trade and what you think about the Knicks' chances this year to join the Liberty and having a parade down in Manhattan.
I'll say this, man. Knicks fans, the reason why Knicks fans are special is because we really, truly do love our players. Like, no matter what you hear about, like, Julius Randle around the league, like, people in New York loved him, loved his kid, his wife. Like, it's different when New York City embraces you. And he took the challenge the same way Amari Stoudemire took the challenge several years ago, where you come to a city where the team wasn't doing that well and you got them back to relevancy. Dante DiVincenzo, I said a couple weeks ago, I said next to Xavier McDaniel and Jeremy Lin, probably the best one-season Knick of all time, right? Like, comes in, saves the rotation when they get hit by injuries, and hits probably one of the biggest shots in Knicks history against the Philadelphia 76ers. So, yeah, it's definitely something that, Knicks fans are going to feel a way about, and even the players probably felt a way about it with the whole Nova Knicks thing going on. But you got to respect it, because great teams make those nuts on the table moves for championships, right? Like, when it's time to go all in and push your chips all the way to the table, that move for Karl Anthony Towns let everybody in the league know, and everybody in that franchise know, we're going for it. And you got to respect that, right? Like, if you look at the team last year and look at the team this year, it's two completely different rosters. And, it's the benefit of having an all-world point guard in Jalen Brunson. Like, when you got a guy like that, your job as a GM is to do everything you can to make life easier for him. And what you went out and did is you got the players that he's comfortable with. You got two great wing defenders to take pressure off of him. And you didn't just get a guy who is great at creating him space. You probably got the best fitting big man for Jalen Brunson's skill size as far as spacing the court. This dude is maybe 6'2" and gets 2 feet in the paint every single time. I think him and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander were like the only guards that just live in the paint. And now you got all that space for Karl Anthony Towns. I'll say this, man. They are absolutely they're my pick to win it all. I think this is their year. I think this is the time that they finally break through. I feel like every team of the past couple of years sort of like knock on the door in the playoffs the first couple of seasons, and then finally they just break through. I think health being on their side, if health is on their side, this is the year that they break through. Repeats are hard. I like that they got to see the Boston Celtics 4 times a year and probably in the playoffs. Like, you're not gonna be shell-shocked when you see them in the playoffs, right? They're going to be without Kristaps Porzingis for a long time. Like, that's going to be something for them. And one thing that I don't think the Knicks organization as a whole gets a lot of great credit for is their front office has been genius level as far as like getting. I mean, dude, you're talking to a lifelong Knicks fan, man. I've seen so many terrible contracts, terrible trades, terrible picks, and it feels like the Knicks don't miss anymore. Like, there's never like a dude, like every year, probably before 2018, there's a dude on the roster where we're like, all right, what are we trading this dude? When are we getting rid of this guy? All this
For the most
stuff.
part, that's how I feel about Ryan Poles with the Bears. Like, I'm not used to people making smart moves. Like,
dog, from the way they maneuvered the cap situation with the second apron to even get Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns, from the way that they've been drafting, like, they are finding these gems. Tyler Kolek from Marquette University, who was Big East Player of the Year last year, low white boy, but that dude is a dog, and anybody who plays against him knows he's a dog. They found this French dude, Pacome Dadier, another rookie, who I thought was going to be a dude that just keep in France for a season or two and be like, all right, come back. But we've seen him in preseason, and you've seen what you've lost in Dante DiVincenzo, and be like, all right, you got a nice wing defender who could shoot, who's young, who's overseas and plays a little bit more of a structured style of basketball that you could put on a winning team and not have to worry about him developing and becoming like this star player to save your franchise. It's like, no, you got a role. You can play this role. You did it overseas. You can do it here. And they just find players that just fit with Jalen Brunson, man. And that is the best quality you can have. That star player took a historic pay cut. You need to take advantage of that for the next 3 or 4 years. If you don't get one of these championships in the next 3 or 4 years, it's an utter failure off rip. Because the dude left $170 million on the table to say, I'm trying to win. Figure it out. And the Knicks, for the most part, have done their best to figure it out around them.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask real quick. When you have a player in New York that leaves that much money on the table, how does And Jalen Brunson seemed like somebody that the Knicks love. Like, I ain't in New York.
You
but,
think?
But man, it seemed like
it's
somebody.
three people. It's three people in the city that never pay for a drink or dinner. It's Aaron Judge, it's Francisco Lindor, and it's Jalen Brunson.
That's what he's at that level. Is he?
Yes,
yes.
yes. Even Rogers got to call ahead of time. Like
Rogers got to call for a table. Like, yeah, I might be
call
pulling up.
somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that level of love, and it's because his style of play, the ability to leave that money on the table, and it's not like he's really leaving money on the table. Because when you're good in New York, dog, let me tell you something. In the past 3 weeks, I've seen more Jalen Brunson billboards, ads, endorsement deals than any athlete I've probably ever seen playing in New York City, next to like Jeter.
Damn.
Like this dude just got a body armor deal, Macy's, Fanatic Sportsbook, like everything. Like they are Nike, Kith. Like he gets every single endorsement. So I don't think he's missing no meals by leaving that money on the table. But that's also the benefit of being great in New York City, because as much as this city has embraced him, once he took that pay cut, I feel like they embraced him back. Every single Fortune 500 company in this city was like, find that dude, find some way to get him some bread and get him some bread, dog. So that's a message out there too. If you're good here, you'll be good forever.
Definitely, man. I'm definitely interested to see what that's gonna be like. You guys open tomorrow on ring night. Which is I always love them ring night games because the team that's getting the rings usually not focused, and I'm not a big Jason Tatum fan, so I'm not buying it. I gotta see
I took
it
the Knicks
again.
on points. The Celtics are 5.5 point favorites. I'm like, oh, that's easy, bread. I'm taking that. So
I gotta see it again.
Because you know the Knicks are gonna come out and play hard. They ain't getting blown
100%.
out on the first day. So I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely taking them points for sure.
100%, man. Kaz, thank you for joining us as usual, man. Anything you want to plug before you get up out of here?
Man, you can catch me at Fanatic Sportsbook all season long, plugging all types of NBA bets, props, all the great stuff over here. I got a big announcement coming up very, very soon about some stuff I'll be doing this season. So when you get that, I'll be happy to talk about that again. You catch me on Ringer Wrestling Show. You can catch me on today's episode of The Putback on SNY with Ian Begley, doing a New York Knicks preview of Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine. And catch my podcast, Say Less with Kaz Oki and Rosie as well.
Definitely, man. Always good to talk to you, my brother. Well, I'll let you.
Oh, it's good to see you too, man. And I'm really glad that you're getting this Bears glow that's happening for y'all right now.
So am I.
You've been through the trenches, man. I respect it when I see people glow up. You know what I mean?
The funniest thing was we talked about Jake. I got off the elevator with Jay Cutler doing week 2, I think. Week 3 it was. And Jay Cutler walked off in the most Jay's fast. He said, that motherfucker's good. And just kept walking in most Jay Cutler fashion ever. So I've been through the wars.
You've been through the waters, man. I appreciate you. I'll catch you next time, man.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to move on, man. We're going to bring in the rest of the crew. We're gonna bring in Courtney. We waved Mikey was in the green room. I don't know where he went, but there you go. What's going on?
What up?
What's going on? How y'all feeling?
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. How was y'all weekend? I know. Courtney, it was with Alabama. Did they win this week?
No, they lost.
That's what I thought. I knew they lost. Courtney, can you hear us?
We good, guys?
Yeah, we good. We good. You can hear us?
Now. Okay.
There's some craziness going on. My bad, guys. Boss man told me I needed to work on the audio, so we're working on the audio.
We all good to go. We were talking about Crimson Tide being in the it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno Bowl.
Hey, listen, first off, leave me out of that right now, okay? That was not on the rundown. I didn't realize we were going to do that. But if we are going to do, hey, listen.
I was just asking how everybody weekend was. No, I just wanted to bring that up.
It was a rough one. It was a rough one. The Stars won. We'll take it.
They won. Mikey, how did your betting go this weekend? Did you win some money?
Not good at all, man. Not good at all. Also, I just want to say, Kyle Shanahan, I'm going to see you one day. One day, I'm going to bump into you, and I'm going to knock that fucking Volcom snapback off of your head. Listen, I had like a 8-leg anytime touchdown parlay going. The dub to win 4,000. All it relied on was Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason was tackled at the 1, tackled at the 2. Both times, instead of feeding the rock to him, he QB sneaked it with Brock Purdy, with my money on the line, and Purdy got 2 rushing touchdowns. It was not a good night. You know the meme of the Tesla robot where he's just kind of staring like that was me. That was really me, bro.
That's funny as hell, man. I definitely feel for it. And that's also why I don't gamble. But let's. I just want. I was gonna come on here and cut a Commanders rant for Commanders Reddit who got mad at everybody on this show except for Courtney. Yeah, you weren't here when we were popping our shit about the Commanders, but Jaden Daniels getting hurt kind of took a little bit out of my shit talk. But I just wanted to say Commanders Reddit. For those of you out there, we appreciate the support of the show. I had over 150 comments calling me a dumbass, and I appreciate you for being passionate enough to even care about that. But I just hope your quarterback ain't ducking the smoke. That's you better wrap them shits up. You better wrap them shits up, throwing it on the field. I don't want Marcus Mariota versus Caleb Williams, or as Bang said earlier, another 1 versus 2 battle between Caleb and Mariota. I don't want that. Tell your boy. Put some Bengay on it, and he better be out on that crappy FedEx field. Like I that's what I want to see. I know, Mikey. You said.
Then what happens is if they put him out there and he's hurt, you already know what they're going to say. They're going to say, "Oh, well, he wasn't his best."
That's a good.
That's why
exactly. So like in this scenario, sadly, Scott, you cannot win for losing. So prepare for the Reddit thread to get a little bit longer.
Preach, Courtney, preach. That's why at this point I don't even give a fuck about it. Just win the game from a Bears fan standpoint, because the validation and all of the praise that we won and that you won, Scott, when it comes to Caleb versus Jaden, we're not going to get it because the excuse is already built in. It's loaded in. If he goes out there with bad ribs and they beat the Bears, you'll never hear the fucking end of it. If he doesn't play and the Bears win, you're just going to hear all the excuses. So it doesn't matter. It goes back to my point. Some people just don't like Caleb Williams. But listen, the 4 of us on here, and I think Courtney fucks with him. So I say the 5 of us on here, we all rock with Caleb Williams. We want to see the Bears do good. So who gives a fuck with Mumbo Sauce fucking Reddit got to say over there? But I will say, shout out to my one man that said, Mikey sounds good. I appreciate you, my man.
Oh man, let's actually talk about the NFC North. I wanted to get Courtney's opinion on this as well. It's a heavyweight division right now. I don't ever remember in my time as a Bears fan the division being this good, like top to bottom. I think they're like 20 and 6 right now, record wise, which is crazy. If the playoffs started today, all 4 teams would be in the playoffs. My question, for everybody here is how many wins is it going to take to win this division? Because I think for the Bears, every game is important, obviously, even the NFC games, because if you don't win a division, you got to have a better conference record to get one of those wild cards. Me personally, I think it's going to take at least 11 games to win this division. That's the bare minimum. And it might even take 12 or 13. But I think 11 to be in there, and I think for the Bears to have an actual shot and win the division, I think they got to win these next 3. I think if you go 2-1 in the next 3 and you go into the gauntlet from hell at 6-3, you still got a chance to win the division. But I think it's a very, very low chance, and you're gonna have to do something like go 4-2 or 5-1 in your division games. Which, let's be real, I'm not expecting them to do. That's why I feel like they need to win these next 3, go 7-2, and give themselves a legitimate shot to actually win this division. Courtney, what do you think? I'm gonna give you your opinion. How many wins you think it's gonna take to actually win the NFC North?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Again, as someone who had a lot of smoke, especially for the Vikings, to come start this season, I did not expect it to go in this direction. So, I can't say that I spend too much time weighing how many. I'm just mostly entertained by the fact. First off, that game yesterday was that was good football.
Yeah.
That was good football, and I'm very excited to see. I never thought I'd ever say that in my life. I am very excited to watch the Bears next weekend.
Neither have we.
I think that's the first time that's ever come out of my mouth. Pause.
And yeah, neither have we. Have I ever? I actually sat up there watching football last night. Like, damn, I wish the Bears were playing today. That has never ever been uttered. Usually, I'm like, I get a week off from the bullshit. That actually happened.
You got to sit back, relax, listen to.
That was a good thing.
Hansen.
Yeah. If you take the I worked the game aspect out of it, yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of yesterday. I was chilling. I had nobody bother me. It was a good time. I didn't have to worry about, hey, what dry ass chicken they serve in the Soldier Field for the lunch today. Like, I didn't have to worry about that. Dante, what's your take on the North, and what do you think? How many wins are gonna take to win a division? And can the Bears be anything less than 7-2 heading into the Packers game and have a shot to win it?
No, this is why I felt like we needed to at least be 4-1. Is 5-0 would be best headed into our division schedule, because I think the game we saw Sunday between Detroit and the Packers is a lot of what you're gonna see with all of these division matches. Wait, I'm sorry. Was it Detroit and the Packers or Detroit and Minnesota?
Last night, Detroit, Minnesota.
Yeah, Detroit and Minnesota. And so, like, those are the games that we're gonna get in these division matchups, bro. I think it's really gonna be a battle and back and forth. And so, with that, I think you need to give yourself as big of a cushion as possible. And so, you do need to be 7-2, because I think it's gonna take. You got to think, before the season, we said 13 wins was gonna win this division. Like, because we were talking about how Detroit doesn't have many outdoor games, and they have a pretty favorable schedule. And it's it's starting to shake out that way. So I think it's gonna take it's gonna take 13 wins to win it to win this division. I think it's gonna take 13 wins to win the actual division, because I think you're gonna have a point where we get 2, if not 3 teams into the playoffs. Like, the way it's shaping up, I know we're gonna bump heads and play knock each other off a little bit, but I think it's gonna take 13 wins to win this division.
My hot take is, though, it's probably not a hot take. I do believe all 4 are going to make it, because I believe that if you look at the NFC South, if you look at the NFC East, I'm just not high on the Eagles. I do think, barring Jaden's health, that Washington's going to win the division. But it's something where, if you look at the NFC, West, what's going to happen with the Niners? I think they fall off a little bit. Like, Atlanta was looking like they didn't know what the fuck they was doing yesterday. So I do believe there's going to be something that's going to allow all 4 of these teams to get in. Like Damon said, never would have imagined Jared Goff, Sam Darnold matchup would be great football. Shannon Mack, good point too. Going 7-2 in the Packers game, I think that's a good chance that game gets flexed on the Sunday night. I don't know what the Sunday night game is for that week, but it wouldn't shock me whatsoever. Mikey, what do you think the Bears' record needs to be headed into that Packers game, have a legitimate shot to win the division, and how many wins do you think it's going to take to win the division?
Well, to your last point, it would be Colts Jets Sunday Night Football. So that's definitely a flexible game. That
well, that just got flexed. That just got
no. That's a whole different one. The November, the one that just got flexed is week 9, Colts Vikings. So
yeah. Okay.
That's when we play the Cardinals. So we're looking at week 11. That would be the game that would get flexed. But for me, I think it's gonna probably take between 11 and 12 wins. Just because I feel like the NFC North is gonna beat up on each other. We saw already the Vikings have gotten one up on the Packers. The Lions have gotten one on the Vikings. I think both teams that already took L's can find a way to bounce back and get their W's back. So I think it's going to take 12 wins to win the division. I personally have not set my sights on the division just because I feel like we're still not at the level of, say, the Lions. I think the Lions are really about to kind of like take off and run off with this division. I think the Vikings are I think we're starting to see some regression in Sam Darnold's performance. The defense is going to travel, but I think the Lions will still end up on top of the division. It's just all about, stacking up as many wins. Like Shane O'Mac said, 7-2 getting a Packers week is a great spot because right now the Bears are favored against the Commanders.
They should probably be favored against the Cardinals, and they will be favored against the Patriots. And those will be the only 3 games for the rest of the year that they'll be favored in, barring injury. So we're getting out of that easy streak and getting into real football. So I say 12 wins will win the division, just because I think eventually everybody in the division is going to be split 3-3. And that's when it's going to get really messy, because then you start looking at common opponents. And, for the Bears right now, they would be losing in that aspect with the Packers, because they've already lost to the Texans, and the Packers will beat the Texans. The Lions still have the Texans coming up. The Vikings have beat the Texans. So that's why it's important to handle, all of your games every week.
Yeah, and I think, I'm with you. I don't have the Bears like in division championship. When I look at these other teams, I still think there's a caliber of play that the Bears aren't at yet. Not to say they can't get there this year. I think everything's on the table, but I just think this is a higher upper echelon of football that the other 3 teams are playing. But I had the Lions going to the Super Bowl, and I haven't seen anything maybe change my mind of that. I do think that they're going to make a trade deadline. I think they're going to make a fucking trade, because they know this is their window. And that's why I think it's going to happen to add on that. Bane, take us home on this topic, man. What do you think the Bears record needs to be heading into the Packer game to have a legit shot at the division? And how many wins ultimately do you think it will take to win the division?
Well, I predicted the Bears to be at 7-2 before they go up against Green Bay. I'm staying with that. So that's one. The second thing is, I think you're going to need 12, 13 wins to win this division. I believe that the Lions and the Packers are officially head and shoulders above everybody, but that don't mean they can't falter on the way there, because those teams could definitely do that. But I don't think that they will. I think this division remains hot, and if they remain hot, you're going to need 12, 13 games to win this division. And what that means also too is there's going to have to be one team that really just comes out and becomes the head of the pack. And I'm wondering if that's going to be the Lions or the Packers. And you still can't discount the Vikings, mainly because that game against the Lions was close the entire game. That game could have went either way. It was a couple of mistakes that was made on both sides of the ball. When they got that fumble from David Montgomery towards the end of the game, they thought that was a wrap then. So this division is going to be highly competitive. They're going to beat the people outside the division, and then they're going to beat up on each other. And the person that gets 12, 13 games is going to win the division.
Definitely, man. That's all we've got on the NFC North. Of course, we're going to spend a lot more time on that over these next couple of weeks. On Friday, we'll be doing a full breakdown of the Commanders game. And then I think by Friday, we'll have an idea now whether Jaden Daniels is going to play, man. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. Bane's going to head to the bullpen for a little bit, and then we're going to talk the World Series. Then we're going to get into Overreaction Monday. And then, of course, Courtney and Mikey can take the rest of the show off as we'll be talking basketball in Block 3 with Pavy, with the homie Wos, with the NBA kicking off tomorrow. So we'll be right back in 1 minute on I'm Not Gonna Hold You.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour 2 of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. It was me, Mikey, Courtney, and Dante, man. We are getting the Fall Classic. We'll be starting this Friday, October 25th, day before my birthday, where you will have maybe the biggest matchup ever. We're going to talk about that now. The Los Angeles Dodgers will be hosting the New York Yankees. This is usually that matchup you get at the beginning of the year where everybody's like, who's going to be in the World Series? And everybody uses 2 big teams, and it never fucking happens. It's usually some random-ass team. Last year, we got the fucking Diamondbacks in there going up against Courtney's Rangers. This year, you're getting the series that I believe, even as much as people hate, and I see a lot of y'all niggas on Twitter acting like bitches. When y'all up here, oh, I don't want to see the 2 most spending teams play for the championship. It's bad for baseball. How we gonna go up here and shit on sports owners all the time, like we always do, and then get mad at ones who actually spend money? Like you're basically backing up the owner of your team who wants to be cheap. This is the shit I want to see. I want to see the big payrolls. I want to see the big market teams acting like big market teams. I want to see shit in the fall. It might not be. Juan Soto might go to LA. You never fucking know at this point. If you look at Hal Steinbrenner's face on the night they clinched, he looked like, damn, I got to pay this nigga at least $700 million now. Like he was happy, but also like, shit, price of the brick then went up. I like to see all of that. And the star power, if you're not a fan of baseball, if you're a casual, watch this. I know people who don't watch nothing who hit me up like, man, I can't wait to watch this series. You got the two MVPs, who are going to be MVPs this year, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. You got my man Mookie Betts. Got Giancarlo Stanton, Juan Soto. Hopefully Freddie Freeman can give them something. He did not look good with his foot out there in the NLCS. But my question to y'all, it's about the significance of the matchup. It's the 12th time they've met in Major League history in the World Series. First time since 1981. Nobody here but Bang was alive when that came. And Bang, that's not a shot. If you're in the green room, you said that yourself in the first hour. Don't slap me on Saturday. But first time since 1981. Is this the biggest matchup on paper in World Series history? Courtney, I'll go to you first.
Yeah. Just to answer your question real quick. Yeah, 100% on paper. This is a massive matchup. But I just want to not that you said anything wrong, but people are so upset that, oh, it's evil empire versus evil. This never happens. There is so much parity in Major League Baseball that these matchups are so just infrequent and uncommon. We should be so excited as fans of the game to be able to watch, finally seeing these payrolls and these guys with these payrolls, these teams, I should say, be rewarded for spending all of this money with at least a trip to the big dance. This is crazy, and we should absolutely just appreciate the greatness that we're all about to witness, because this is going to be so good for the game. I don't care who you're a fan of. This is great for the game of baseball.
Mikey, man, what's your initial thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, if you're Rob Manfred, you're grinning from ear to ear. The sport of baseball needs this. Just to put it into context, this is the first time since 1976 that the World Series is going to have the MVPs from both leagues going up head to head, and the team in the AL with the best record versus the team in the NL versus the best record. So for everybody that's been bitching, saying, oh, I don't want to see that, I don't want to see that, you've never seen it for the majority of your life up until now, that you're getting the best of the best in baseball playing each other. There's not much more that you can ask for. The lineups are loaded from top to bottom on both sides. You got the two major markets. You have two very proud baseball franchises. You have two guys that, one of Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani will be getting their first ring at the end of, this calendar month. Juan Soto potentially getting his second, Mookie potentially getting, what would this be? His third, so there's a lot of Hall of Fame potential. This is as good as it can get. We're going to get into kind of our predictions a little later on, but I'm extremely excited for this.
Dante, man, tell me what's your feel on this matchup? Because I'm this is the most excited I've been for a non-White Sox playoff series probably ever. I'm very hyped about this.
This is probably the greatest World Series of my lifetime. I think because I have no personal ties to it. It's obviously 05 was very personal for me. Even not being a Cubs fan, seeing them go to the World Series, that was something that was big. But no, I think this is outside of possibly, the Subway Series that happened when we were in high school. This is the biggest World Series of our lifetime. Without a doubt. You have 6 undeniable All-Stars, 7.
I just want to say I was not in high school during the Subway Series. I was not that old.
No. We went on 8th grade when the Subway Series.
No, we was in 6th grade, nigga. Subway Series 2000.
Okay, well, yeah. We were in 6th grade. My bad. But no, outside of that, outside of those two, because I think the Subway Series, this is it, bro. And but everybody who's complaining about it, this doesn't happen often. Like, it's rare we get the clear 1A and 1-1 on each side that come and they clash and go for the World Series. So I'm extremely excited about it, bro. I think, and it's also dope that Mookie was having a shitty last 3 playoffs, and he's hitting well going into this. Aaron Judge was playing like shit. He woke up. Juan Carlo has been hurt for the last 3 seasons. He's playing out of his fucking mind. So you have the best of the best. I hate all of the injuries to the Dodgers pitching staff, but I still think even with that, with the amount of bats you have, with the amount of sheer star power, guys like Max Muncy, he's not a star, but he's fucking dope. Kike, we already know how great he is in October. This is going to be a extremely exciting series, bro. And now it's just going to be a chess match with the pitching staffs. And it's going to be crazy to see, bro.
Right. No, and to piggyback off what you were saying, like, yeah, we have the star power, but then you got Gleyber Torres, who's been fucking hooping, going up against the likes of Tommy Edman, like you said, Kike Hernandez. You got Jazz Chisholm, you got Verdugo, you got Teoscar Hernandez. We remember what Teoscar Hernandez did in the Bronx in earlier this summer, fucking hitting 3 home runs over the weekend. So like, this is from top to bottom as good as you can get it. Yes, we're all gonna talk Judge and Ohtani,
playoff Tommy Edman. He just won NLCS MVP.
Exactly, but this series is going to come down to those other guys, and it's crazy because this is the only sport where other guys are going to be put in position to deliver, and your stars might, sometimes the bat might be taken out of their hand.
Definitely, man. Let's get into our actual predictions here. I think, Mikey, what you said on what the betting line is for Vegas right now?
So the Yankees are a slight underdog, I think, at plus 105. The Dodgers are favored at minus 125. And then this is a 2-3-2 series, correct?
Yes.
So, okay, yeah. So
games in the Bronx. Yeah.
Right. And there will be no weekend games in the Bronx. The weekend games will be in LA. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
I think for me, man, this is so much of a pick'em series, in my opinion. I don't think that anybody is wrong for who they picking this. I think at the bare minimum, this is gonna go 6. I'm praying for 7. I think what's interesting about this matchup is I think the pitching edge goes to obviously the Yankees. Dodgers been hurt, starting pitching's not there. Walker Buehler actually has been playing pretty good in these playoffs, which I didn't expect, coming off 2 Tommy Johns. Jack Flaherty's been, hot and cold. He had a couple good starts, got lambasted against the Mets in game 5, I think there was. Both bullpens have been strong, but the Dodgers have just been so offensively potent this entire playoffs. I think they set a record the most runs in the national NLCS in history. You got Mookie's been on fire. Ohtani is 18 for 22 of runners in scoring position. Like, that's just I don't even think you can do that on MLB The Show. That's such an asinine stat. And you've got the others who've been putting in. Tommy Edman, you got Will Smith had a big 3-run home run last night. They're gonna need more from him. Same thing with with the Yankees. You got your stars, but I think Jazz Chisholm, he been slumping. But who says the Jazz can't get hot? Who says that Gleyber can have a tough series, like a good series? There's so many different ways for this to go. I think the edge that you give will probably be to the Dodgers because if you want to say experience, I don't know, that might be a little overrated in baseball, but they've been there a couple times. Like you said, Mookie is trying to win his 3rd championship. As much shit as we give Dave Roberts, this is his 4th World Series appearance in 8 seasons. This is a battle-tested team. And the number one thing I've been hearing most, we want to have a parade. We all know they won a championship 4 years ago, but there's only been one Los Angeles team have a parade, and that has been the Los Angeles Rams. Lakers weren't able to have theirs. Dodgers weren't able to have theirs because of COVID. They want to have a parade. In fact, this is the first time they've clinched the Dodger Stadium in a long-ass fucking time. So you got that, and I think that's going to come down to the very small matchups. Who's going to be better managerial-wise? It's going to be Dave Roberts. It's going to be Aaron Boone. Who's going to manage their bullpens better? Very, very small mistakes that usually will fuck you up in any series are going to be magnified, I believe, because of the star power of each of these teams. Well, I don't think any lead is going to be safe. I think we saw that in the Guardian series. Yankees didn't give a shit about that. We saw that with the Dodgers. No, I don't. Unless this is like an 8-run lead, which I don't see happening in any of these games, this is going to be games that's going to go down to the wire. I'm going to pick the Dodgers in 7. It would not shock me if the Yankees win. Obviously, I do think they have the edge pitching wise. I just think that Mookie and Shohei are just in such a crazy tear right now. Not that Aaron and Juan and Young and Giancarlo Stanton aren't. But I'm gonna go with the Dodgers. I think them having home field helps a little bit. You can't put too much on regular season matchups because this is regular season, but they played well in the Bronx this year. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers in 7, and I think the Dodgers actually had a parade, in downtown Los Angeles, for the fans out there. Courtney, we you got the Dodgers having me like me. You've been doing very well by doing your part of not watching the games.
Listen,
But-
yeah, for context for the people out there, the Dodgers have been playing better when I didn't watch. So I was like, you know what? I got to do my part, and I have to just like watch from afar, aka following along the game recap on the MLB app. So you're welcome, Dodger fans. You're welcome.
Courtney texted last night like, "Can I watch now?" I was like, "No, it's 3-1 game."
No, and fair because it was like the top of the 8th, and I'm like, you know what? Let me relax. We'll wait three more outs. Then they tacked on those insurance runs, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think we're safe now. But yeah, I will say this series is a coin flip for me. Obviously, I'd love to see the Dodgers win, and I am going to take the Dodgers in 7. But it's just going to be one of those things where I said it before, like we started our postseason picks, right? And I'm not doing like I told you guys so, because I definitely had the Padres winning. But for me, I said it at the beginning that it's going to come down to the bullpen. Whose pitching is going to be best? And I know the Dodgers are kind of overly reliant on their bullpen right now, but I do think that that's going to be the thing that gets them by. I'm taking the Dodgers in 7.
All right, Mikey, which way you leaning for this one?
It's tough, man. It's really tough because, like you said, the starting pitching edge goes to the New York Yankees. But then when you're going up against a lineup as potent as the Dodgers, do you really have an edge? Like
Not
Garrett
really.
Cole. Garrett Cole isn't really Garrett Cole that we've seen, from 4 or 5 years ago. So then you have guys like Rodon. We know how that experiment could go. So for me, as much as I want to go with the Yankees, and I talked about in the previous segment about, the other ancillary, team members, Gleiber, Austin Wells, Jazz Chisholm, those guys. I just have more faith in the Teoscar Hernandez, the Will Smiths, the Max Muncy, the guys that actually have been there. So I'm riding with Ohtani.
Okay, got the Ohtani jersey.
I'm riding with Ohtani. I'm riding with the Dodgers to win this. I do think it will be in 7 games.
Dante, I know you picked the Yankees at the beginning of the season. I know you're sticking with that. Tell me why you got the Yankees in the series.
Oh, it's easy. Everybody's overlooking the pitching advantage, but I think that matters. And not only can do they have better starters, but they can actually be strategic with their starters because, for example, Nestor Cortez has been pushed to a, long reliever in the playoffs, and that's somebody that you can piece you can get a couple games out of Nestor. Same with Garrett Cole. I don't need Garrett to be the old Garrett Cole who's giving me 7 innings every start. If he can give me 5 really strong innings, then I take him out and I can turn it over to my pen, and then I can bring him back on short rest if I need to. You give me 5 more. Like, you could really piece it out. And then with the bats, they got the bats. Aaron Judge, you got Juan Soto. Juan Carlos Stanton, to me, that's one of the big reasons I'm sticking with the Yankees.
Why are we calling this man Juan Carlos?
Because we niggas. And we niggas.
We niggas.
that motherfucker's name is Michael Stanton. That's what that nigga's name is. Michael Stanton.
Juan Carlo, Giancarlo. What we gonna call his mama named him Michael? I'm gonna call him. I'm
calling Michael.
But
right?
no. I think he's really been carrying this lineup, and that was somebody who, for the past 2 years they had to wrap him in bubble wrap. He couldn't even play the outfield anymore. This is somebody who used to be a decent defensive player, and because of the injuries, he could barely run, bro. And so it's to the point where it's to the point where you gotta love what you're seeing from bro. And so with that being said, I am sticking with my pick. I'm going Yankees in 6, and I'll say this. For as star-studded as the Dodgers lineup is, don't be surprised if it's not an exciting 5-game series, and the Yankees
Oh,
end
don't
up
say
just
that. I don't
winning
wanna
it.
hear that.
Yes, I no 100%. I think the Yankees have that type of talent, and this offense is rolling like that to where you can get them out of there in 5 games with that pitching. 5 games. Either way, Yankees get ring number what 27, 28, 27.
28 wings, bro.
28. Yeah. They've been saying
I-
27 for fucking 90 years now. I'm over it.
We're being accused of racism. And Chuck said GOP. I'm not gonna hold you. It's big. Juan, whatever his name is big. That's what a lot of people are saying. Anyway.
Reminder
I hope
that
not.
early voting did start today in Texas. Go do your civic duty.
He said 1,000,000 to 1. That's hilarious. But I will say this, Courtney. I know that's your boy, but I am glad Clayton Kershaw is not pitching in this series. Thank you, God. Look, last time that nigga played in the playoff game, LA almost had that nigga's head on a spike.
I just wish that he would come live right down the street. He lives 15 minutes from me.
Did you know that him and Matthew Stafford were friends?
Did you know that?
Did you know?
Did you know they went to the same high school?
I never knew that. They grew up in Texas together. Look at that. But this is going to be a fun series, man. I'm looking forward to watching that. So we're going to pivot into football. We're going to bring Bang back in here, man. It is time for one of the newest segments we have here that I enjoy putting together. It's called Overreaction Monday. I've got 4 topics. I want to see what you guys think about if I'm overreacting to it. The number one thing I want to talk about, Freaky Sean. Freaky Sean is done. Not only is he done with the Cleveland Browns, his career might be done. He ruptured his Achilles yesterday, playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. Quiet as kept. The Bengals, they won like 3 in a row, and they're about to go on their October to January insanity run that they like going on. But he ruptured his Achilles. I've never at one time seen all of Twitter was like, too bad, nigga. And they actually had fans booing him. Now, we had what happened after the game. Jameis Winston going up there dressing like your cousin, your car-cracking cousin on Thanksgiving. Giving basically, I say, like, preaching to fans about not booing, what happened, booing Deshaun when he got hurt. Same thing happened with Myles Garrett, which I thought Myles Garrett comment was hilarious. He said he has been a model citizen for most of his professional career. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting with that most.
Hey, G, before you go, can I say something about that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jameis Winston, tread lightly, nigga.
Yeah, right.
Tread lightly, nigga.
Thank you.
Because you are a few Googles away for us remembering what you was doing. Ass nigga, like stop playing, bro. This is what I be talking about. He's sitting there preaching, and I've shot Jameis a lot of bail, and I understand that's your teammate, but get the fuck out of here, bro. Acting like this man is some civil servant who got shot on some shit. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
it's so easy
that was just
to
too
not
far.
say anything.
J-Mo got a weird case. Why is he around?
I'm not saying that you have to sit up there and fucking dog walk your teammate. I would never expect you to do that. But just shut the fuck up. And like Myles Garrett, again, you want to defend your friend, you want to defend your teammate. What? Even though he's a fucking scumbag, nasty man, do your thing. But the model citizen shit is crazy. This man is not a fucking martyr, and they're making him to be one, and it's wild. Wild.
This is my take. This is the overreaction I have that fans weren't wrong to boo this nigga. There's a couple things I gotta say about it. It's not just with Deshaun Watson. I feel that us as people, some of us, we stand on this moral, I'm better than you. I stand on a higher standard type morality type shit. Just because a nigga, something fucked up happens to a nigga or a nigga dies, that we gotta lie about the person. Like if somebody died, like, oh well, yeah, prayers up to the family. That nigga wasn't shit. I'm not finna sit up here and lie about who this man was because he happened to die. Like, look, did I get up and clap when Deshaun got hurt? No, but I also wasn't like, damn, I feel bad for him. Fuck that nigga. Like if I'm not gonna have more respect for him than I do with the 20 alleged victims that he had. And I have this thing that 20 people don't lie on one person. I'm sorry. Even if it's 2 people, if 18 of the women lied, 2 being right. If it's 1, that's still 1 more than
it
needs to be.
Matters worse. It was actually 27.
27.
One of whom one of whom didn't settle. She dismissed her own case. So yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been 28.
So
That's a
my
lot of
question,
that's a lot of liars.
my question to y'all is the overreaction say the fans weren't wrong to boo Freaky Sean. I'm gonna go to Bang first.
Look, man, I think everybody wrong in this situation. I honestly think that the fans of the Cleveland Browns ain't got shit to say because when they got Freaky Sean ass, they didn't give a damn about anything that happened. They didn't give a damn about the 20. So why are you mad now? Because dude ass Huff? Because they didn't boo him because of the sexual assault charges. They didn't boo him for that. Let's be clear. They booed him because him on the field has not been what they expected. And when he got hurt, he was actually like 12 of 13 or 12 of 14 for over 100 and some yards. He was actually having a good, efficient game against a team in the Bengals, which they actually have played good against for the last couple of years, which is why I picked the Browns to win that game. So I don't think that they should have booed for the simple fact, if they were booing for the simple fact that he's had all these charges, but they didn't. They booed that man because he's been Huff. So if you're booing the man because he's Huff, then if he's hurt, you're wrong. You're wrong because there's a whole bunch of people that's on there that's Huff that you can boo if they got hurt. If you were booing him because of the sexual assault allegations, boo away. Boo away, even though you didn't boo when they made the trade, but boo away. That's the shit that's meaningful and you should be booing for. But if you booed that man for tearing his Achilles, then you a hoe. That's just me, though.
I'll say this, man. First of all, you are 100% right. I don't feel that this is something where Browns fans are just complicit. I remember the reactions when he got signed. I remember how many looks went the other way. A lot of Will Smith memes out there with niggas looking the other way when this thing happened, because let's just be real, a lot of people don't give a fuck about this shit. If this person plays well, we see it every day with just other things. People go out there with it, tell you that they still listen to R. Kelly. People go out there and tell you they still listen to Diddy. We see this happen with anybody. At the end of the day, people don't really care about the situations. It's how they feel about this person.
My brother, I see what you did there.
It's the same shit.
I see what you did with the R. Kelly thing. I see what you did there. Just at me. Just at me. Just tag me. Just tag me.
I wasn't talking about you putting Sylvester on the main IG.
Just tag me. So you put him on. You put him in front of everybody.
I was like, damn, you put Sylvester on the main page? I wasn't talking about that.
And that's one or two songs that R. Kelly will always get a spin from me.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else. That's gonna go against my point that I'm trying to make here. So I'll say that for some sessions. But the point is, if Deshaun was out there killing shit, them niggas wouldn't be booing. That's just them niggas were fed up with him being their quarterback. They booed the nigga when he came out on the field before the game. So they are not complete. My main issue is this. For whatever reason they wanted to boo, we know their hands are covered with blood as well. My issue is more with the players. And I think I'm gonna give it to Mikey in just a second, because Mikey, you said the same thing about a lot of players view this as a us against them type thing, and I get it, that fraternity they're in. I'm not saying that you go up there and shit on your teammate. I'm not saying for that. I'm just saying don't lecture fans on what the fuck they need to do. Like this is just some model citizen. This isn't somebody who is a model citizen who they just booing just because they on some Philly sports shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when niggas boo, I think Chiefs fans booed Matt Castle when he got hurt. Of course, we all know the infamous thing when Eagles fans booed Michael Irvin when he got hurt. Like there's nothing like that. But something that I feel it was the issue there, that don't lecture the fans. That's the only issue I have with it, man. We're gonna move on to the next overreaction, man. I want to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers lost a BLT fest last night against the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're gonna get into them niggas right after this. Brandon Ayuk, after going through a whole off season, wanted to get his check. I know he happy he got it now, because he is out for the rest of the season with the torn ACL. He tore everything in that knee. He's done for the year. Christian McCaffrey is still trying to make his way back. We don't know if he's going to come back. You got all the different losses that they have. coming up. You know, the 3-4 still got a rough schedule, got a rough division. My overreaction is that the San Francisco 49ers, Super Bowl run is over. Ban, do you think that's overreaction?
No, because I said that in the first show of the season. I, I think
Preach.
that this is over with. When you have a team in football that plays so many games in this sport, you're bound to see some type of drop off. Go look at Pat. Pat has been huffed this season. Nobody want to talk about how dude been hella mid this season. But when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and how much football that they've played, it's bound to catch up. It's just that for the San Francisco 49ers, it's catching up with injury after injury after injury. Hell, Deebo Samuel went off the field, looked like he had like the stomach flu or some shit. Felt like he was walking off the damn field like he had to take a shit real quick.
Hey, I think he's scared, bro. I think he's scared of their ass. I'm going to keep it a buck. I think Deebo Samuel is scared of the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'll let you rock, Bang.
Hey, look. I just think that injury after injury, after they celebrated a man who got shot while getting robbed, and he came on the field, and which should be celebrated. But it was more celebrated because we like, yo, we finally getting some other people on the field because CMC is out there hurt. Mason almost messed up his shoulder and shit. So there's that. The defense, they ain't too much battling injuries, but they ain't playing as well as they should. And then next thing you know, Debo taking the shit. Brandon Ayuk tears his ACL and his MCL. So it's like, yo, I don't know. So as I said at the first show of the year, and I'll say it again, they can be had. They're not going to be the team that make it to the NFC Championship, let alone. They lucky they probably going to make it to the playoffs.
Orlando's right. You let a nigga who got shot come back before Christian McCaffrey. That's how I know it's over for them. Mikey, I'm gonna go to you. Why do you think Debo's scared of the Kansas City Chiefs?
I won't say scared, but I just feel like there might be some type of mental thing going on there after watching the receiver series, after seeing how he really wanted to get his lick back versus the Chiefs. For you to mysteriously just come up with an illness like 3 hours before the game, and then you go out there and like, if you were really sick, I've been sick. I'm noted. I'm always sick. Terrible immune system. I know a lot of people that are sick. If you are really that sick, you are not sitting there chilling in pads. Go get undressed. Go get some fluids. Do whatever in the trainers. Lay down. Why you just sitting there? Why you just chilling there? I honestly feel like there's some type of intimidation with the Chiefs and the Niners, and it doesn't matter. The Niners could be stacked. We've seen it in the Super Bowl. The Niners could have all the talent in the world. Pat could have a team full of wide receiver number 3s, but when they line up, number 15 and Andy has their number. So I just feel like there's something going on there, and who knows? Like if you really watch the receiver series and you kind of see like what it really means to him going up against the Chiefs, and it's like, damn, like you 0 for 2. Something to me just I felt like yesterday I was watching it, I was like, man, I think he should. But as far as the Niners, I was in agreement with Bang from the first episode as well. I just honestly felt like this would be the last that we see of these Niners. Obviously, they spent their money on Ayuk. CMC's already paid. They haven't paid Debo or Kittle. So that's kind of like when you break up that, when you break up the Steph, Clay, Draymond thing. Like when you break up the Debo, Kittle aspect and you have to decide between one, I feel like that's when you're entering a new iteration. And that's where you see they went and they pay somebody like Brandon Ayuk. They go ahead and they, start giving Jawan Jennings big opportunities in the passing game. So I just think that they're beat up from a lot of games played. Brock Purdy did not look good at all yesterday. We'll get into Pat, but the Niners really blew that game more than the Chiefs won that game. The Chiefs do what they always do. They hung around. Good coaching, great defensive coordinator in Steve Spagnuolo. You got a great quarterback that didn't play overwhelmingly well statistics-wise, but when it came down to key third down plays, he was able to do that Pat shit and make magic happen. And that, that's just kind of where the Chiefs are right now in this in this point of their dynasty. And the Niners have just not found a way to play clean football in all three phases versus them.
Dante, man, what you think about the Niners? Is it a wrap for them boys?
Oh, yeah, so we talked about this before the season started. Like when teams have these sustained runs, like eventually when they end, they fall off a fucking cliff. It's not like they go NFC Championship, Super Bowl, NFC Championship, and then it's like, division round. It's like usually they just miss the playoffs. And so like this is a season where you're seeing the injuries pile up. You're seeing the team just not being able to get into a rhythm and get into that flow that has been like a part of their trademark. There were seasons where I forgot Buddy's name. I don't even remember the name no more, but he was like the third string quarter. Was it not Nick Mullins or some shit like that?
Nick Mullins.
And they would still go win 8 games and be competitive. And like you said, you slowly but seen it start to really deteriorate. And you've also run into a thing that teams run into sometimes. I think the Saints kind of ran into this where you pay the wrong people. And then you pay the wrong people, and now you're going to look up in a couple of years, and their salary cap situation is going to be a lot different with a lot of people on the books that you probably don't want on the books. So I think this is a situation where you'll probably see them start to reshuffle. They're fortunate to have one of the best coaches in the game. So with Kyle Shanahan in the fold, you'll be able to make something work. But I think, like we said before the season started, this iteration of the 49ers as we know it is probably over.
I think they'll still probably represent their division in the playoffs, but I don't think it'll be it's not like last year's Niners team where everybody feared them in the NFC and we just knew right away like they were a 12, 13 win team and they were the shit. They'll probably win their division just off GP that Seattle really isn't that good. DK Metcalf is now hurt. I think with a grade 1 MCL sprain, so that'll be a couple weeks that he's out. Kyler Murray and them are not good. The Rams are not good. So the Niners should be able to probably get in, but maybe we're looking at a Niners team that barely scratches 10 wins and gets in. So. Yeah, they're not overwhelmingly. They're not one of my top 5 teams in the NFL right now.
Courtney, quick for you, Niners. You think are we overreacting or are you in agreement?
No, it's perfectly spot on. The window was already very narrow to begin with. Add in all these injuries, and now I feel like it's basically closed, and that door is no longer ajar. But I will say, and I'm going to sound like the anti-Aaron Rodgers right now.
That's good. That's welcome here.
Yes, Deebo Samuel did have COVID, and they're saying yesterday that he had respiratory issues, difficulty breathing. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm simply saying
I'd have difficulty breathing if Pat walks me down every time I played that nigga too.
All I'm saying is,
wait, he got so he got COVID and he's still. So he had COVID and he was just chilling, no mask on, dapping up teammates, just still in uni, kicking it. Okay.
He got the Noah Lyles COVID.
I'm just
the Noah Lyles COVID.
He got the Noah Lyles COVID. That's what he got. That nigga shook. And you're right, Mike. If you watch receiver, that nigga got hurt. He got hurt in the Super Bowl too. Like
he's gotten hurt every single time against them. Every single time.
I'm afraid of Mecole Hardman.
Well, that's a perfect segue into our next one. The Kansas City Chiefs, who won last night, who were winning every fucking night. They are 6-0, despite not being impressive whatsoever. They are, Pat is leading the league in interceptions. He has had all his wide receivers are like on IR. Rashee Rice, who is getting some rest for. He has the prison. He's on IR. They have no weapons right now. But the defense is doing their thing. I think that, the thing that kind of stood up to me, bro, was, in the words of Thanos, I think that the fucking Chiefs are inevitable, bro. Like, they just look like they're unbeatable. Because you said the same thing, Mikey. Like, it doesn't matter how they win it, they can win it. And no matter how bad Pat plays, and yes, we're not talking about it because he's Patrick Mahomes. And I saw somebody tweet the other day, oh, yeah, he's been playing bad. Send him to Cleveland and show him a lesson. Everybody would still take that nigga on their team today. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just really what it comes down to. But my overreaction is that the Chiefs proved last night that they're unbeatable. That it doesn't matter how they play the game. They can bullshit the entire game. Their defense is good enough to hold you down. And if need be, Pat can still make the throws to beat you. I'm gonna go right back to Courtney. Do you think that they are unbeatable, or are you still seeing that? Oh, they're getting away with it now, but they're not gonna get away with it later on.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that they're beatable, but they're just doing enough to keep themselves in a position to win. I think if the Niners had more weapons to contend with, I think the Niners could have won. For me, it's like you said, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been playing great, but he's been playing good enough for them to win. Their defense has actually been pretty impressive. So I don't think that they're unbeatable, but we're just right now, the rest of the teams in the league are looking real bad. So it's like, it's, in a land of not, they're looking pretty good because the rest of the league is looking pretty ass. That's my stance.
Bang, you took the field when we did our Super Bowl preview early in the season. Do you still feel that way, or do you think that these niggas just can't be beat?
If I would have had my own overreaction, you would know that my stance on this has changed, and it's changed in the most shocking way. I think the team that is most likely to win the Super Bowl is the Detroit Lions.
Oh, no. I don't want to hear that shit. No, Mr. Nobody cares about Detroit.
And actually, pardon me, it was we don't give a damn about no Detroit Lions.
I don't give a damn. I still don't give a damn about the Detroit
By the way,
Lions.
Jared Goff MVP campaign right now.
But
get that out.
man,
I'm not trying to hear it.
Is it not? Jared Goff looking real MVP.
It's a fact.
Right now.
That's a
We're
fact.
just talking about Sam Darnold.
It's Josh Allen right
y'all.
now. It's Josh Allen right now.
It's
Josh Allen right now.
It's Josh Allen to Jared Goff.
My boy Joshua ain't going to pick yet.
But you want to know crazy thing is Pat is still number 2 right now. And like for me, that's crazy because
he have more interceptions than touchdowns right now?
Yes.
The first 17, we got to get into a different discussion. I'm sorry, Bang, to step on you right now, but
no, you good.
We got to get into a different conversation about this MVP award because it is complete bullshit. If it's just a quarterback award, then just say that and come up with something different. If I were to go on DraftKings right now, the first 17 names of people in order that are the favorites are quarterbacks. There's not 5 fucking quarterbacks that are playing deserving of it. There's not 3. It's honest. Or there is 3. It's Josh, Lamar, and Jared Goff, to me, are the only 3 deserving of their names being in there.
I agree.
But when Cooper Kupp did that shit and had over 2,000 something yards, when Derrick Henry did what he did, and Derrick Henry didn't even get a vote, that's when the award went to shit. If it's just a who's the best quarterback award, then rename it that. Because right now, if I'm watching these games and I'm telling you who the most valuable player on the field is, I'm probably going to go Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Jared Goff. But in 2024, nobody is ever voting for a running back to get this award. He's on pace he's averaging over 100 rushing yards a game. He's on pace for over 22 touchdowns. He's on pace for over 2,000 fucking rushing yards. And they said that he was washed. And it's like, he's not even listed. He's 50-1, bro. He's 50-1 right now. And you still got people like Pat Mahomes, like being top 2. He's got fucking what? Like, he's got like 7 touchdown passes. He got something ridiculous.
And that's why I was gonna say, even though I looked at that Detroit game and said, oh man, what the fuck? The scary thing about the Kansas City Chiefs right now is that they're winning and they've beat the Baltimore Ravens. They don't have a fluff schedule. The fact that they're undefeated, no fluff schedule, and their quarterback and their offense looks like shit. It's starting to look like the Matt Nagy we know. That's the scary part about this. But at the same time, you have to wonder and say, yeah, wow, this is scary. That means somebody can touch them. And I could still see them going to the Super Bowl. But if they play against the Detroit Lions, I won't pick the Kansas City Chiefs.
If they're there, I'm taking the Chiefs just because I said I've given him Tom Brady grace from here on out. If the niggas lose, they just lose. I will not be on the losing side of that pick.
I feel you,
forward.
Scott, real quick. I feel you. Because I probably try to do the same thing. But this is also when I say we got to stop crowning niggas before careers is over with.
Yeah, you finna go down a dark path.
I ain't
But who you talking about not crowning? You talking about Pat not being crowned? You crazy.
No.
You
Listen,
tripping
I
right
ain't
now.
even saying shit yet. Well, I ain't even saying shit.
I'm making sure you don't say it.
No. I ain't saying shit yet. What I'm saying is, this is why we gotta to be careful about that. Because I don't remember a season where Tom Brady started off like this bad. I don't remember a season where a quarterback in this time of his prime started out the way that he did. Pat's still the greatest of this era, but this is why I say we give niggas so much bail that a motherfucker could do some crappy ass shit and we just don't acknowledge it. But when you look at some of the greats, they ain't start off like this. But it's Pat, and we don't give a shit because that's why he's second in the MVP voting on the goddamn betting site so far. Because nobody gives a damn about 6-8 or 7-8. They just like, yo, Kansas City is undefeated, and he's the reason why.
Dante, did you have something real quick?
No, I think also Pat gets bailed because Pat started out hotter than a lot of other niggas. Like, Tom was a game manager in the first 5 years. Pat ain't never been no game manager. So, him having this slow start, he gets shot some bail. But I agree that we need to, if we're going to sit here and say this is the ultimate team sport, we have to consider more positions for most valuable player. You can't sit here and just have it all quarterbacks. And that goes on the writers, just how we talk about how NBA writers are lazy and they just lean on weak ass narratives as opposed to the actual game and what's going on. So I think that's we've lost track of this award. But in terms of the Chiefs as a whole, this does look like the season. And I know we said this all last season. This is the year you're gonna get them. You better get them. But no, it really looks bad out there. Like it looks bad. We're gonna see what moves they try to make at the deadline. Maybe get a receiver in there, somebody to help that offense. But Pat has not looked like Pat, and I think, they're winning these bullshit games, but the schedule does turn up, and it turns up for everybody. For a lot of people, I didn't check and see where they were on the strength of schedule for the remainder of the season. But if they're playing like this going into the playoffs with the teams with the AFC, and we know how good the Ravens are, we know how good Buffalo is, I think they're gonna get knocked off. I know we hesitate to go against Pat, but nah, bro, I don't see it happening if they can't score points.
The league fucked up because the Chiefs were gettable these last few weeks, and nobody went and stepped on their necks and got the kill shot. Looking at their schedule right now, I can legitimately tell you they're not finishing with less than 12 wins, just based off who they're playing. They still got 2 with the Raiders. They still got the Panthers, and they're already 6-0. Then you got your 2 with the Broncos. They haven't really gotten into division play for themselves. So this is going to be a team that fucks around, and they're going to probably be this bad. And can they fuck around and still get home field and all roads lead through Arrowhead? Mm-hmm. Like that's what's going to be crazy. And, Pat has just gotten to the point right now where for me, he's devoid of any criticism unless he makes a play that ruins and loses them the game. And he's not doing that. When it comes down to it, yesterday when the Niners started to kind of put a little bit of their foot on their necks and kind of get it close to a 1-possession game, long touchdown drive. Niners punt, hey, fuck it, we're going to go for the kill shot. Another long touchdown drive. And that's just what it is. They're a championship team that has been there before. They've reached the level of we don't give a fuck about the regular season, and yet they're somehow still winning. All I say is just don't let them end up with Cooper Kupp, because if they do, then all of this is going to be for naught, and they're going to end up winning it all again.
Oh man, that would be insanity, man. That wraps up Overreaction Monday, man.
I'm gonna apologize to Debo Samuel. Kyle Shanahan has just come out saying where he's dealing with pneumonia. As somebody who's had pneumonia, that shit sucks.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what did I say?
Courtney was like, show love to people. It shows nothing to show a nigga love.
Courtney hit you with the fake doctor meme. She was.
Oh man. Final topic, man, before we get Courtney and Mikey up out of here, and we're gonna talk some hoops with Pavy and Wos in just a minute. But I want to talk about my man, Mike Tomlin, last night. I loved the fuck you comment from him at the end in the post-game press conference where they were questioning his decision to start Russell Wilson. And he said, hey, that's why I get paid very, very, very handsomely. I think that's what he said. Very, very. I get compensated very well. That's what he said. That was the Mike T. Russell Wilson fuck you game last night. Started off very rough, very rough. Russ didn't come out. He looked like a nigga who ain't played football in about 6 months. He was missing wide receivers. He had one, which is probably the worst throw I've ever seen in my life. Which Mikey, if you said if there wasn't grass there, that shit would have fell through the earth. But it was just terrible play. He starts heating up. He starts realizing, I got George Pickens. Let me just throw it down there. They start heating up. He finished 16 for 29, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the defense closed the door on the terrible ass Jets. They scored 37 points. I can't tell you last time the fucking Steelers scored 37 points. Mike Tomlin's fuck you game. One thing I got from it, 2 things I got from it, actually. Never question Mike Tomlin. I know we like to double question second think coaches. I get that, but this dude has been employed for 18 years. This dude has won a Super Bowl. He's been to 2, and he is one of 3 that like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the only franchise. They've been around forever. I think they're one of the original 6 in the NFL, and they have only had 3 head coaches. You know what I'm saying? That's Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike T. And I think it's about time. All you Steelers fans out there, we want to get Mike T out of there. Y'all don't know how fucking good y'all have it. Us teams who we have, the Bears, the biggest issue the Bears have had is finding a quarterback. Just as big of an issue has been finding a good coach. I can only name 3 good coaches in the history of the Bears: George Halas, Mike Ditka, Lovie Smith. That's how bad it's been. So for all of y'all who just take advantage of what you have, Mike Tomlin is amazing. Also, another thing I heard, unless Russ gets hurt again, which is a possibility, my boy Justin gonna be holding that clipboard up, man. Dante, just real quick, what'd you think about what you saw last night?
Well, real quick, Scott, I just want to fix what you just said, so nobody thinking like Chuck Noll has been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers since he was a baby. They've only had 3 coaches since 1969.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. So there was more before him.
Yes, they used to be terrible before him.
Okay, well, yeah, when the shit mattered, they had 3 coaches.
He says Chuck Noll was a baby.
Chuck Noll was born in 1932, my nigga. It's like, hell yeah, baby.
Who's Coors Light, cold hard facts? But go ahead, Dante.
I think this is a situation where you had so many people who were just simply rooting for Justin to get his shot. They, didn't take a look at the entire picture. And the fact of the matter is they brought Russell Wilson in for a reason. And there was no way they were going to go throughout this season and not let him play unless Justin just lit it up. And like Justin said himself, he didn't do that. Yeah, they were 4-2, but like we've been saying, you can't sit here on one hand and say wins and losses is a team record. And then when it, benefits your case, now you want to say, well, Justin 4-2, how could you bench him? And it's like, yeah, he had 5 touchdowns and 1 interception, 3 fumbles. It was real mediocre. Like he showed flashes, but again, we're not trying to see flashes. They want consistency at the quarterback position. So Mike T, he sees him in practice every day. He knows who Russell Wilson is, and he made the move he felt was best for his team. And just now, only time will tell if that actually pans out. I don't know if Russell's going to stay healthy. If he does, this is going to be another tough division, especially with the Bengals falling off the way they did. I think this will give the Steelers an opportunity to, make the playoffs yet again. So you got to tip your cap to Mike T for, sticking with his hand. He knew what he was going to do from the jump. He always played it that way. And right now it looks right. I just hope it don't blow up in his face, because you do all this talking about, well, this is why I get paid handsomely. And then this nigga go 1-6 in the next 7 games and we having a different conversation. So it look good right now.
Mikey, take us home on this one, man.
I think a lot of people, I think the overreaction too to this is I just think a lot of people need to kind of roll back their Russ is going to take them deep and Russ looks great talk. A lot of that shit was fuck it. George Pickens is down there. Let's hope he can make a play. And I wouldn't say 3 or 4 of those catches were just ridiculous. The only difference between Justin and Russ, from what I saw yesterday, was that Russ was giving his guys the opportunity and the chance to make a play on some of these balls downfield, whereas Justin was just completely missing them. I think in the end, their run game is going to take a little bit of a hit with, Russ now with his lack of mobility. And I think they're going to find a way for Justin to still get on the field. But I wasn't overly impressed with Russ. I wasn't also thinking he looked like shit. I was just, some of it is, hey, you're going up against the Jets, and a lot of us gotta retract some of our statements on what we thought the Jets would be and how they would look, because they just look like a terrible team. They look exactly what their record says they are.
I was wrong about the Jets, and I'm happy that I was wrong about the Jets, man. Mikey Courtney, we gonna get y'all out of here, man. Anything y'all want to say for y'all? So we see y'all on Friday.
I will be traveling down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama this weekend, so I will not be here on Friday.
Oh, you won't be? That's right. You just tell me that. Yeah.
Yes, I am a good fan. I am going down with the ship. I'm going out of my way to travel to Tuscaloosa to go watch this team play football. I feel like they need my energy. I'm about to take my black ass in that fucking locker room. I don't know what's happening. Okay, but they need a little pregame, mid-game hype or something. It's clearly got to come from me. My seats are close enough. Give me a clipboard.
Hey, Courtney said I'm going to be with him.
Sorry, that's crazy.
Courtney said I'm going to be with him even when they're in the Bojangles Bowl. Mikey, any last words?
Shit, man. I'll holla at y'all later on this week.
All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick 1-minute break. On the other side, we got Pavy. I can see him in the background drinking his tea. Funny nigga right there. We're gonna talk some hoops on the other end. We got Pavy and the homie Big Wos from the Ringer joining us in just a minute for our NBA preview. We'll be right back.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to I'm Not Gonna Hold You. This is Block 3, man. We've got Bang in here. We're about to bring in Pavy here as we're going to get to Weekend in the Association. We have not had Weekend Association in a couple months. As you can see here, we're going to talk some NBA basketball, man. Let's bring him in. Let's bring Pavito in. Of course, y'all know to follow this man Pav at Pavy World on all social media platforms, man. Pav, how are you feeling this afternoon?
Hungover, but I can't complain. Good. It's a beautiful day, so we're here.
He had a good reintroduction to the States these last couple days.
Well, yes, initially. Then I went in the hat, and then I popped back out yesterday. Yesterday was fun. It was a good night. But yeah.
Definitely, man. We're gonna have Wasby join us in just a minute. Dante be back in just a second too, man. But we're gonna talk some NBA basketball. The season kicks off tomorrow at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. The Celtics begin their rings after they just won the championship a couple months ago. They will be going up against the New York Knicks, and in the nightcap, we're gonna get bludgeoned with LeBron Bronny content for fucking 3 hours. We already heard that Ken Griffey Jr. and his daddy are gonna be there, like us, and we getting Bronny interviews. Niggas is like, oh, Bronny, I don't know how much I'm gonna play right now. Yeah, he's gonna play a little bit when the roster's a little bigger, and then they're gonna get they're gonna have him play with his daddy. They're gonna have the little pictures. It's gonna be all over social media. People gonna be like, how can you hate on this? How can you hate on this? You act like a 55th pick. If there was somebody else, you wouldn't have a problem with it. And then he's gonna sit down to what's the name of the G League affiliate?
South Bay Lakers.
The South Bay Lakers. Yeah, and we want to get all of that going in there. Go ahead, Dante.
I know we here to talk basketball.
How
I
you
know we here to talk basketball.
How you feeling, bro?
Shout out my nigga Pavy, dog.
Shout out you, bro. How you feeling?
Shout out my nigga, man. I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling great.
And Dante got his
Amazing,
party
bro.
with Pavy.
If we had the button, bro, I would have that bitch on right now. Dude. I'll party with Pavy. Hell of a night, man.
There's no cap
man.
and Pavy straps.
Not at all.
That was a very fun night too. It was a fun night.
Yeah, it was.
Fun night.
Fun night. I know we'll talk about more on summer sessions, man. But
Good thing Bang is on mute because I don't want to know what he just said.
I know. I said so. That means I can't necessarily party with Pav. That's the laugh that you gave off. Like,
Nah.
Now you could have. You could have.
Yeah. It was cool. It wasn't nothing crazy going on. It was just a fun and funny night.
okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I have to get my Frank the Tank on. You know what I'm saying?
one of those any type of is a married man can party.
Yeah.
You would have enjoyed yourself.
I wanted to come, but I had to be at Heathrow at 5 a.m. in the morning.
You wouldn't have made your flight though.
Which is exactly why I didn't come. And then I'd have been asked out. I paid too much for them flights to miss that. But yeah, man, I'm glad. And we've got our second guest here, man. We've got the homie Wos. We can bring Wos up in here now. Let's see. There we go. What's going on, bro?
My dog.
You can hear us? I don't think you can hear us right now. We can hear you right now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I was trying to use my headphones, but does it sound fucked up if I don't use headphones?
No, you good to go. You good to go.
All right, straight.
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Shit, man. I'm at the office today, man. Like it's like the fucking first day of school, damn near. Like the first time. It's the first time I've been here since June. So 4 months since I've been at this office. But like everybody's here because we got this like like company all hands. So like the whole ringer is in LA this
It's in the
week.
building. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
you're the second one to be in the office. The Cavs was in the Fanatics office too. He said, "Yeah, we get ready for
bro.
the
So
season."
like because everybody's here, they're like, "Yo, let's get video shit with this. Let's do this. Let's blah blah blah." So, but yeah, I'm good to go though. So
glad you could join us, bro. Always good to have you on. I texted you like I think like a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm watching the Black Quarterback documentary on Amazon, and I'm just sitting there just chilling. And then you half paying attention to something. So I'm like, hold on, I know that nigga. I was like, hold on, I know that ain't my nigga was. So I rewind. I'm like, oh shit, my nigga was on the Black Quarterback documentary, man. So man,
so shouts to Chelsea, man. She's a big dog over here. She was like producing on that joint. She had reached out to me and was like, yo, do you want to be part of this Black Quarterback project that we're working on with Amazon? Like, come through. And I was like, I bet, like, not knowing, I just knew like they was like, yo, come on and come in and talk about like your history with your football fandom and Black quarterbacks. And I'm like, all right, cool. They had this like set up the DTLA. I went there. I was probably there for like 40 minutes total. I was there, probably talked for like 30. And then, I was out. Like, you kind of forget, like, because this was,
I know it's like months ago you did. It's probably like a year ago.
No, it was like 2022.
Oh, damn, it was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Because I remember when they did certain parts they cut out, because I do know Michael Vick did an interview with Justin Fields, because I was at Hallis Hall when Michael Vick came up there. So I don't know if they got lost in the editing process.
Bruh, nobody told me Michael Vick was hosting or Doug Williams is going to be a part. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm looking at the names on this show. I'm like, bruh, I did not know it was going to be all of that. It's just homies asked me to pull up and share some words. Like, and she, like, Chelsea works over here with us, so she knows my concentration is basketball. But she was like, nah, I want you to come up and mess with us. And so, like, I seen a bunch of people hit me about it. And I was like, yo, this is actually way crazier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I definitely had to do a double. I'm like, hold on, I know this nigga. But man, good to have you on to talk some hoops. We just talking to Dante. Dante just had his first party with Pavy experience in
Oh
London.
man, I heard about that. I heard y'all boys. Man, I heard you lost all your shit too.
But I found it though. But I got it back. I got it back. Yeah,
that's what's up. Yeah, nah. So obviously, like, you know, niggas be stepping out every now and again here in LA, but like the nigga Pavy turns into goddamn James Bond.
Nigga, don't even get me started. This nigga, I come out the first night I'm in London. I'm like getting ready to meet this nigga. He telling me streets like I know where the fuck I'm going.
Bro,
No,
we at the
no,
game.
You gotta go down Shortage. Like, no, you're in the wrong area.
That's not a street.
He said, "Yo,"
he
said, "Bro," he
I'm
said,
like,
"Yeah." He
whatever.
said, "I'm finna go meet these shorties in Shortage. Then we finna go over to Notting Hill. Then I'm finna slide back this way. Just let me know what you want to do." I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some food. Then I'm gonna hit you, bro. We gonna link though."
Nah, it's really different, man. Like, obviously, you guys pulled up. It was your first time. My first time. Me and Pav actually went together. Our first time. Like, I knew I would enjoy it, but I really
Bro, I enjoyed the
London,
fuck out of London, bro. I was having London withdrawal like 2 days ago,
Bro,
it's crazy.
bro. Last night I was at dinner and I'm like, felt like a fucking red coat. I'm like defending like the honor of London. Like London don't have good food. I'm like, that's not true. Not true. British people don't have good food.
Yo,
British people don't have good food. London has incredible food.
Yes.
No bad experience with the food I had. And I was actually pretty surprised. My brother and Pavy had the most pro-American, funniest
conversation. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Had me dying laughing. I know the Uber drivers like these dumbass men. My brother's like World War champs. This shit was funny as hell. Like, but it was a fun time, and just obviously the Bears winning was the height of the whole thing. Seeing that, and I told Kaz this in the first hour, like. You don't know. I knew the Bears were big, but to see it on an international scale, like I've been to every Bears home game like the last 2-3 years. That was more of a Bears home game than Soldier Field did. Like it was loud up in there, bro.
I don't know if I even told you, but like my whole area was like Bears fans, but I was the only person from the States there. It was like the person in front of me was from like somewhere in England. Next person next to him was from Germany. People next to me was from somewhere in England. Like everybody had on Bears gear or just like random NFL gear. So yeah, which was odd to me. Like I'm the only person that's actually from Chicago that was even in my whole little area. So yeah.
But the Bears were the first NFL team to play in London in 1985. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
Oh shit!
So that's why there's such a big presence out there. Yeah, it was. As soon as I got the Uber, number Caleb Williams jerseys, number Walter Payton jerseys, like, and it was just cool to see all that as a Bears fan. Of course, Caleb put on the shows. That was like, and by the way, we all know about press box. Hey, them Euro press boxes are A1. Those are like sweet suits.
Oh, wow.
Like I was sitting in like the fucking 100 section. So
wow.
I had a good time out there, man. But let's get into the hoops. Let's talk basketball, man. The NBA starts tomorrow. I feel like it came around real quickly. We got the champions, the Boston Celtics, getting their rings against the New York Knicks. And then you got in the second game, we're getting, like I said earlier, we're getting bludgeoned with Laker talk. All right, we're going to get a whole bunch of, Bronny. Look, King Griffey Jr. Sr. in the crowd. We're going to get a lot of that in the second half. But let's specifically talk about the Eastern Conference first. Yeah. I'm going to go to you first, Pavy. What kind of stands out to you about the Eastern Conference? I feel like for the first time in a long time, this is the no doubt superior conference this year compared to the West. What do you think of some top stories that stand out to you, Pav, and who would be like the contenders out the East?
Contenders, I guess I'll start with contenders. Contenders, I think Celtics, obviously. I think Knicks. I'm interested in the Bucks. I don't know if I want to necessarily call them contenders, but again, you do have. I saw Dame. I think it was Jeff T's pod or somebody pod, and he was like he didn't even work out all summer last year because he didn't want to get hurt. So you have Dame for a full year, coming into camp. Hopefully he's, obviously he's probably healthy this time. And again, you actually get a camp. I forget that last year he did get traded like a week before. It was like so late. It wasn't in the summer. It was like September, I think, when he got traded last year. So you got him. I'm really excited to watch the Pacers. A full year of Siakam. Also, Benedict Mathurin was hurt during the playoff run. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Magic. There's so many teams that I'm excited about in the Eastern Conference. So I think it'll be a good season. I think we have a lot of teams, like I said, that I'm excited about. But if I had to I'm not a betting person, but if I had to bet, I know everybody has like Knicks hype right now, and Knicks are, which they do look great. They did. I think they had probably the best offseason out of anybody acquiring Cat for whatever reason. I know Cat has his moments where he does whatever he does, but at the same time, bro, that's still 20 points and 10 rebounds pretty much every night. There's not many centers in the league better than Cat. But if I had to put some money on something, I'm still gonna pick the Boston Celtics. I know KP is out to start the season, but I still feel like even though they won a championship, they still have a lot to prove because people look at that ring and say, "Oh, you didn't really play anybody." I mean, Jason Tatum, the man couldn't even get off the bench for the Team USA, and he just won a ring. Like, how many times do you see the person who's on a team that won a ring literally can't get off the bench for his country? So I think they still have many things to prove. So if I had to put money on somebody coming out the East early on, barring injury, I would say the Boston Celtics.
Wise, man, what you think about, I want to get your opinion on the Knicks trade. I know I saw a little bit what you said on your pod about it, but what do you think about the Knicks and like, should they, obviously got the Celtics, but how much more seriously should we take the Knicks and what other things are you looking for in the Eastern Conference?
I mean, I think the Knicks, you got to take them seriously in the sense that they are laser focused on the Celtics. They're like, all right, this is obviously the best team in our conference. And if we want to do anything serious, we have to beat them. And they geared their roster construction around beating the Celtics. And what do we mean by that? Obviously, the Celtics are, one of the most hyper potent teams offensively in the NBA. And it starts with their two dynamic wings in Tatum and Brown. And the Knicks are like, all right, we already got OG Anunoby. Why don't we get the other premier wing stopper in the NBA and get Mikal Bridges? So, like, that's what the matchup is in terms of, one-on-one, put them on an island against Tatum and Brown. And not to say they're going to put them in a, like, straitjacket, but I think if the Celtics are like, yeah, we're just going to isolate those two guys over and over against the Knicks' two best perimeter defenders, that's inefficient Celtics offense, honestly, when you compare it to what they're able to get to when all five guys are involved, right? So I think the Knicks, they did that. And I think the Knicks understood last year that offensively, they were so freaking Jaylen Brown centric in terms of creating every single opportunity last year. This year, they're like, you know what? Jaylen Brown's going to be the focal point, but we're going to pair that with Towns and that pick and roll action. That'll be their primary action all year. And hey, they're going to get a lot of great offenses out of that action. Out of Towns on the pick and pop. Towns has made himself into a nice, high-low player, so you can do a lot of the DHO type of stuff with Towns this year. OG and Mikal Bridges, their whole careers have been, second side, attack closeouts, take the wide open threes when they're given to you. Not like, Bridges got miscast as some like fake ass number one option on Brooklyn last year. He's not that, but he's not going to be asked to that in New York. And I think Karl Towns, like, he hasn't always been the greatest shot creator, but again, as the second option in terms of creating for himself, I think he's well cast in that role. The only problem for the Knicks is one, depth. Right now, it feels like they have their starting five, Deuce McBride, and I guess you could say Precious Achiuwa as their main rotational pieces. Like, a bunch of niggas talking to me about Landry Shamet last week. He's already gone. They already had to cut his ass. The depth is going to be an issue, but I love that they said, yo, we're laser focused on Boston. We don't take Philly seriously because their two best guys are constantly hurt.
Yeah,
Bro,
you got Paul George.
And B said, I don't see myself playing back-to-backs for the rest of my career. What are we doing, bro?
Paul George left Kawhi for bigger Kawhi. Like that's all he did in this situation.
He openly said, I'm not gonna play back-to-backs for the rest of my career. What are we doing, bro?
That's crazy.
What are we doing, bro?
And the Bucks, they just weren't as good as we thought they were last year. And I think the Knicks look at it because I think the Knicks, their lack of interior defense to me says we're not worried about Joel Embiid and we're not worried about Giannis, who is the biggest, best interior threat in the entire sport. And they just punted on the idea that they would be like, you know what? We're gonna have girth and size to stop Giannis. They're like, nah, we're not worried about the Bucks, not worried about Philly. We're worried about the Boston Celtics, and we've constructed a roster that we think is, highly optimized to beat those dudes.
Yeah, and I think too, like I said about this trade, I told Kaz this in hour one. I said this when the trade happened. I know New York sports fans, kind of like Chicago sports fans, we fall in love with the hard hat, lunch pail type players and
God,
Julius
it's so
Randle.
disgusting.
Like, look, though, I know that we can say whatever about Karl Anthony Towns. The nigga can hoop. All right, like I don't need my players to be super tough and shit. Like my quarterback pains his nails. I don't give a fuck. Can you throw a fucking football? Can you get 20 points, 15 rebounds? This to me is the perfect match for them. When you got what how Jalen Brunson plays the game, you already got Mikal Bridges. I think the only threat I think would be for me is their health. Not to say that the Celtics aren't going to be a threat. The Celtics still going to be there no matter how much I think Jason Tatum is a player 2 ass nigga. He's still there. He's going to do his thing as well. But I do think that if you hear my dog in the background, I apologize. I'm going to shut this nigga up in a moment. But I do think that when it comes to the stories of the Eastern Conference, they're right there. I look at it as them and the Celtics. Pavy, what do you think of some things that the Knicks can do to get over that hump to actually beat them? There's one thing about being in the conversation with the Celtics. What can they do to actually beat them?
I just think camaraderie, playing well. Obviously you make the trade late, so you got to work it out through the season. Also, I think they have a little bit more depth than what people think because again, you do have Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson. Obviously, is hurt. He's coming back. You have Precious. Hopefully, facts with him. Hopefully, he's coming back. But really, just playing well, yo. Obviously, like you said, there was way too much on Brunson. I like Brunson, but at the end of the day, Brunson is still 6 feet, bro. Like it's gonna come a time where like you go just run up against somebody who's just gonna be like, no, like literally like, no, you're not going to do this. And if for them, health, because Tibbs got bodies on his record. So for them, health and getting there and being there and actually being able to be healthy when that time comes. But again, like I said, if I had to put money on somebody, I'm still gonna say the Boston Celtics. I don't think I've seen a champion in recent memory since honestly maybe going back to the Warriors in 14-15 who like won a championship and then still had so much to prove still. Like I said, the man Tatum get picked for the Olympics literally can't play. He's on the bench with Tyrese Halliburton. I love Tyrese Halliburton. I think Halliburton gonna be one of the better guards for the next 10 years. But we talking about Jason Tatum, bro. Probably a top 5 player in the league. And even me saying that, I'm still saying probably, and the man just won a ring. Jaylen Brown didn't even want to get picked. So I think like obviously in like a perfect world, like playing good. If you can, play defense against those two guys, slow them down. Tibbs, obviously great defensive coach, can figure something out. But in reality, I just would still put my money on the Boston Celtics, no matter what the Knicks did, if both teams came into a situation and were both healthy.
Yeah, I think if the Knicks are gonna beat the Celtics, it's because they're junking up the game defensively, right? And what I mean by that is when the Celtics get you in rotation, you're freaking toast. When they get that ball ringing around the perimeter and they just wait till they find an open shooter because they're playing a legitimate 5-out, legitimately always have 5 dudes that can fire that thing from 3 with accuracy, you're finished. I think what the Knicks have to do is be like between Hart, between Bridges, between OG, they can be highly switchable and adaptable and turn the Celtics into a one-on-one team. And so again, like now you're junking up their beautiful precision-based offense and grinding it down, getting them into late clock possessions and making it ugly, right? And then on the offensive end, like the Knicks just wasn't dynamic on offense. Like it just wasn't. And and we've all seen those Julius Randle triple jab step fadeaway 21-footers. That shit didn't work in the playoffs. No. Never has. It never will. And so they have a new, conception of who they can be on offense. So it's like, we're going to junk up the game on defense and we're going to do just enough offensively. We're going to be just competent enough offensively because nobody thinks they're going to be like like the 7
Warriors and
seconds
shit.
less suns or nothing crazy
Yeah,
like
right,
that.
exactly.
They're not gonna be the Splash Brother Warriors, right? Like nobody thinks that, but they're gonna do just enough, sort of like the Bucks did when they won their championship, where they were just record setters on defense and were just barely good enough on offense. We're gonna do just enough on offense, be a great defense, and get this thing rolling.
Definitely. If I was gone for a second, I apologize. One of the biggest beefs in America is my dog and the U.S. Postman. I had to literally pick this nigga up and take him outside. So if I wasn't there for a second, that's what that was, man. But let's talk about the Western Conference, which I think this is a weak ass conference, like to the point where I think if you look at a team like the Lakers, and I'm not trying to shoot them any bill, if there's any team for them, any time for them not to make the play in, this will be the year. Like, I don't really know who should be the favorite. I mean, Oklahoma City, they have a chance to build off what they did last year. I know Isaiah Hartenstein, he's going to be out for a minute. But you still got Shea. You still got that young team who now has playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you can't forget about the Mavericks. There was an NBA Finals last year. You got Phoenix. What can Minnesota do? Like, I don't know what that fit is now with Julius Randle. A lot of ugly basketball when you got Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. Like, that's just like I don't know what that's like. Pavy, what do you think about the Western Conference, and who do you think should be the team that we should look at as a favorite in the West?
I mean, I think it's an interesting conference. I mean, obviously, just some random teams. I mean, Memphis should be back. Memphis should be back, and Memphis should be good if Ja, can number one stay fucking away from the guns and also stay healthy, And I think that him missing last year gave other guys it forcefully empowered some other guys to work on the game. Like obviously Desmond Bane. I think Desmond Bane became a little bit better. Jaren Jackson, I think he became better. I'm interested to see what Zach Edey can do, just him just being 7, however tall he is. Because Jaren Jackson don't rebound. And I think, just the size and presence after Steven Adams fucking got hurt was a huge thing that was missing from them. And even just a guy just setting screens for Ja or something like that. And again, I saw Jaren say apparently, I guess he could shoot. Zach Edey, I guess. And also, having Marcus Smart there. I'm interested to see what Phoenix could do. The Kings, I'm interested in the Kings, just them adding DeMar DeRozan. I think one of the main things that they were missing was half-court offense. I think everything with the Kings was like, we're going to get the ball and we're going to run really fast up court. And if we can't do that, I don't know what we're going to do. So I think they'll be interesting. The Mavericks, obviously, you can't count out the Mavericks. I mean, obviously, Luka. Hopefully, Luka.
It's an MVP time for Luka this year.
Yes, I think it's MVP time, but also I think he has to become a better, well-rounded basketball player. I think he has to just try more on defense, bro. Like at least try. Hopefully he comes. I think I saw some earlier in the year where he was in better shape. Now, granted, everybody be in good shape in July and August. Do some for whatever reason when you get on the road, you start ordering room service, you sitting there drinking Gatorade every day. People tend to get a little bit bigger. So hopefully he's in good shape. Obviously you bring Clay. Granted, I know Clay is not the Clay of old, but bro, Clay still shot 38% from 3 last year. I think it was 38%. Like it's not 40 whatever used to be, but Clay can still play basketball. You also bring in Najee Marshall. I like Najee. You get those guys for PJ Washington. Lively year 2, you get those guys in your system for another year. So hopefully that improves the Thunder. Like you said, Hartenstein is out, but they picked up Alex Caruso, which I think is huge for them. I think that Josh Giddey, as far as just in that backcourt with Shea,
we got P. Giddey. By the way, you can't even watch the Bulls if you even want to watch that sad product because they don't have to deal with the biggest cable operator in Chicagoland area. They do not have a deal with Xfinity. These niggas are sending out antennas to if you don't because they ain't got a deal with YouTube TV. So I'm like, dude,
they don't have a deal with YouTube TV.
No, they have a deal with Direct TV streaming. So like you have to go Audi. So that means no Bulls, no Blackhawks, no White Sox. Now, granted,
you don't need to watch them teams. You don't need to watch them teams.
At least the Blackhawks have LeBron James on skates. At least there's something you can watch with them niggas. You don't want to see the White Sox and the Bulls anyway. But go ahead.
But adding Caruso to that backcourt, I also did some numbers. If I'm not mistaken, I think Caruso is like 38% from the corners, which is which playing with Shea, who's gonna have the ball, also playing with Jalen Williams and those guys who are gonna have the ball. You're gonna do a lot of corner 3-point shooting. So and again, picking up Hartenstein, hopefully he comes back healthy. But the main thing that they were missing was Chet Holmgren was getting assaulted on the boards. in the playoffs. So now at least you got some more toughness. Also, you can run different lineups. Like, Chet is a guy, he can shoot the ball. I think he shot, I forget what it was from 3, but you could do Hark at the 5, you could do Chet at the 4, Jalen, Caruso, and Shea, and just give yourself a bigger lineup. So I do think that and Phoenix, like, granted, obviously, do I expect Phoenix to win a championship? No. I think it's probably the end of the line for all these guys like LeBron, KD, Steph, as far as winning.
Already trying to get his second career going. You see,
as
he's
far
Kay Adams show all the time.
Yeah, as far as winning championships goes, but they did address the point guard issue. They got Tyus Jones. They also got Monty Moore. Again, it's your second year with these guys. I forget who the coach is. Frank Vogel, which is an interesting thing.
Well, no, they took his ass out, and
you're right. Yeah. Who's
Budenholzer?
Budenholzer. Which is also really interesting because
how you go mid on mid?
No. I just always know Mike to be a kind of a defensive coach, and you put him with an offensive team, but maybe he can make them better defensively. I don't know, whatever. So I do expect them to be better. Again, I don't expect them to win anything for real, but I do expect them to be better. Denver is a really interesting case to me. I think losing KCP was a big thing. You do have Strother and you do have Braun, but I'm interested to see how they can step in and kind of fulfill the KCP role. I'm interested to see how that goes. Also, granted, I know it was the Olympics, and it wasn't the regular team, but that Jamal Murray, like, listen. Now people are finally seeing what I've been saying. So I'm just very interested to see with that, and also Michael Porter Jr. I think he has to take a step to be able to do something else besides catch and shoot. Like, he got to work on his game and do something more besides catch and shoot. So I'm just interested to see, what Denver does, because again, I think losing KCP was a real thing. The Clippers, we can kind of discount them at this point. Unfortunately, they got a new stadium, but I mean, we got to go watch James Harden throw lobs to Derrick Jones Jr., which is cool. But that's like
it's not worth the drive to Inglewood.
Yeah, that's like 35 wins. And a team I'm also interested in is the Houston Rockets. Just to see what they do year 2 under Ime. I saw Jalen Green just signed a deal. Actually, a really good deal. We signed for 100. I think it's 101 with a team option, with a player option in year 3.
Yeah, player option after the second. So he's basically like, I'm gonna play for 2 years, prove myself,
and then
try to hit the unrestricted free agency market. And he'll probably be like 23, 24 still.
Facts.
In 2 years, which is crazy.
Facts.
Yeah.
And then Shane Goon, if I'm not mistaken, Shane Goon signed today. Was that correct?
No, I think they curved him, man.
They curved him. Well, anyway, Şengün
curved Şengün, man. Yeah, they curved him, boy. He ain't
Şengün.
Oh no, I'm lying. He got 185. Sorry.
Yeah. Thought so. Yeah. Şengün. Like, I'm just interested to see what that team could do. I think that could be a team that could realistically make the playoffs in this Western Conference. So I actually think the West is a pretty interesting conference, and there are a lot of storylines that I think we should all be paying close, so yeah.
I actually disagree with Scott in the sense that, like, I get it. The Mavs don't feel like a juggernaut to anybody, or OKC is like so much of they're very talented, but so much of the talent has been unproven. Like, these guys never been to the conference finals or finals or anything like that. But like, like, everybody pretty much thinks they're going to win 60-something games this year, which by definition makes you a championship threat. I think Dallas is going to be a great regular season team and playoff team. I just think Luka, having tasted it for the first time, I think he's finally understands what it takes to actually win at the highest levels. Not just getting to the finals, but getting their ass beat the way they did by the Celtics in the finals, where the Celtics were the execution team and Dallas looked sometimes like a deer in the headlights. That's going to be a great learning lesson. I do think Luka, man, is just the best dude outside of Jokic now. To me, Luka's the best player in the league because he's got the ball all the time. He's constantly making great decisions, matchup nightmare, and they've constructed a team that makes sense. Lively the second, I'm super high on him. I think like his defensive potential, I think he's got defensive player of the year potential in him. And I think, just being smarter in terms of when to deploy his height and his size as a center, I think that'll be, big improvement to his game now. Like, I think it'll be 2 and 3 years down the line where he's making like corner threes and stuff like that. But I think Lively, man, I really think he's somebody to watch this year. Somebody who takes a step from being like, he's a player. He's obviously a rotational guy, like great, solid pick that you can get a starting center from his rookie year where they got him. But I think he's going to show himself to be like really, really a dude this season. I'm really, really high on him. And I think Phoenix, people don't notice they had the worst fourth quarter offense in the NBA last year. Their fourth quarter offense was worse than Charlotte's last year. Like that's insane, right?
They couldn't even be in the same conversation with Charlotte.
They like with the offensive talent that they have specifically. I think Budenholzer, if anything else, their offense is going to make sense. There's going to be a structure. There's going to be a pecking order. There's going to be an order of operations. You know what I mean? This year, and I think that's going to really take them to another level. Now that level probably is like 53 wins. Type of thing. It's not like they're going to be some juggernaut, but I think they're going to be way, way improved. And, in terms of Denver and the Wolves, I think the Wolves, to me, a lot of people saying, like they're going to fill in the Karl Towns production with Naz Reid upping his minutes and Julius Randle, which I think is on paper, that sounds good. But like Rudy and Julius and Jaden McDaniels, like those three people cannot play at the same time in a playoff series that you're actually trying to win. And then DiVincenzo, who I think is probably going to warrant more minutes, probably eking into the Conley minutes so he can be back up one, probably some lineups where they're letting Jaden McDaniels or somebody play up to the 4 position so he can slide in at the 3 so he can actually play next to it. Like, they're going to have to get really creative with their lineups to get their best dudes in there. But I just continue to think like the Julius Randle thing is diminishing returns when it comes to the playoffs, right? So I can see why people think they took a step back. Now, Denver obviously took a talent step back. I think for me, speaking of the Olympics, like watching Serbia do what they did,
the
Team USA, where I literally thought the game was done.
It's over. Yeah. So did I.
And it's basically because they have the best player in the world just figuring shit out. Like, I don't know how they did this shit. I can't explain to you, like, oh no, they did this to LeBron and KD, then Jokic. I can't explain how they damn near should have won that game, besides the fact that, like, in the regular season, I think they're going to have some troubles getting to, like, the 3rd or 4th seed because they're going to be playing a bunch of unproven guys and getting them to, become consistent rotation guys. But when the playoffs come, it's going to be hard for me to look at any Western Conference series and be like, yeah, they're definitely busting Denver's ass.
You're right.
What would I say that? I can't get there after watching Jokic put the fear of God in me. Because outside of the Mets and the Jets, folks at home can stop laughing. There's not a lot of things that I like have rooting interest, like living and dying with the results. Team USA is one of those things where I'm just like, my week, possibly month, was about to be ruined by this guy.
My year would have been ruined. My year would have been ruined.
Ruined!
Serbia?
This is how Steph and KD and Braun have to
Serbia?
get sent off?
They get sent off by Serbia. We can have that on the American video.
Not by Serbia, G.
Not
by
Serbia.
Not by Serbia.
Nah. G.
In
If France is whatever. But Serbia, no, we can't lose.
In the semifinals?
This how interest. I was in there like, yeah, Brian. And for me to say that's nothing but country pride right there, nigga. Like,
bro, Embiid, when he had his little flurry, I was like, about goddamn time. Oh, I'm so happy we stole you from France or the Congo, wherever we stole you at. Like, bro.
Yeah.
So the fact that Jokic, man, in a do or die situation, bro, like, he's one of the scariest figures in sports, man. Yeah. And so I can't write the Nuggets off. You know what I'm saying? Like, if in a series, like if the Nuggets played the Bucks or the Sixers or even the Knicks in a playoff series, I wouldn't be like, oh, nah, they're definitely the underdog. I'd be like, nah, I'm picking Jokic. You feel me? And so, like, I still believe the Nuggets are a dangerous team.
Real quick, I want to say. Also, the Spurs. I'm interested in seeing the Spurs. The
Yeah.
Spurs have been doing generational tanking for the past 3 years. They're not as bad as people think they are. They have just been trying really, really hard to lose basketball games for a very long time. And
Have
if
you seen
Wemby-
Sohan play point guard, Pavy?
Yes,
Not
exactly.
pretty.
Exactly. But gee, I'm not believing Greg Popovich, who is one of the best coaches we've ever seen, actually thought Sohan could play point guard. You're trying to lose games, bro. You're trying to put your team at a competitive disadvantage. You're trying to lose games. You're trying. But, bringing in Chris Paul, and again, if Wemby is who we think he is, if he is who we think he is, which is a generational all-world, we've never seen no shit like this guy, why can't they be a play-in team?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't they? So a team
I just can't see a team going from 19 wins to 40.
40. That's a huge jump, bro.
shit. If the man fucking LeBron, Ralph Sampson, goddamn KD are all rolled into one, why not?
You bring a good point. Also, I think if there's any
Calling that
conference to
nigga
do,
Ralph
it'd be West.
Sampson is out of
wild.
pocket. You're out of
Nigga
pocket.
said we gonna throw Ralph Sampson there. I was gonna ask y'all the typical media who you got a finals question, but I'm gonna make this even funnier. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. How many games till Bronny's playing for the South Bay Lakers?
2.
Oh my God.
2. They gonna play them when they down by like 10 in like game 1 to Minnesota. Hopefully they get a fast break. He throw a lob to Bron. They gonna call a timeout. 2 minutes later, he gonna sit down. You're not gonna see that man no more.
Right. The Bronny thing is tough because the Lakers have, I think, earned a reputation for being pretty good player development guys. Some of the gems that they've unearthed in the last few years, between the Kuzmas and the Carusos and Austin Reeves, and I'm actually a Max Christie believer. Like, they have developed a rep for being player development guys. However, and this is somebody that at the job today was pointing this out. It's like, can you even send him to the D League? The G League? Because if it doesn't work there, if he's getting embarrassed there
In the G League, yeah.
what's the talk after that? Like,
but then it's like that's why they're in a,
you can't just waste the actual
on a
NBA
bench.
roster spot on this kid.
On a bench, right? Exactly. That's a tough situation they're in because all LeBron hate aside, like I'm not hating on a fucking how old is he? 21? If that, I don't even know.
Is he even 21? He's like
I don't
20.
think he's 21. I think he's like 20.
20.
I mean,
20.
I'm gonna stick on the mountain of the nigga shouldn't have been drafted yet. I still think he needed more time. It has nothing to do with his father. I don't think he should have been drafted by any team. Like, he still needs more time in college basketball. He did barely even play to USC. Like, it's not like he even got enough playing out there. I think, like you said, Pavy, like, yeah, it's gonna be the jokes. We're gonna get out there, you're gonna make the pictures, you're gonna get a whole bunch of niggas going on Twitter. How could you hate on this? And you never talked about the 55th pick before. Like, niggas up. You never talked about the 55th pick before. Like, all the nuance going out the window. But after that part gets up, what do you do with the kid? And I really hope for his sake that they plan to develop him, because once LeBron retires, then what? Then was he gonna be out the league? So yes, there's a risk of him getting his ass busted.
Actually, yes.
There's a risk of him getting his ass busted in the G League, but I think you gotta take that risk.
He's gonna go back to being a billionaire heir, which is a great life.
Yeah.
Well, go play overseas if you want to.
Just don't hang out with Marcus Jordan. Whatever you do,
don't hang.
Facts.
Don't hang out with Marcus Jordan, man. It's going to be an interesting night tomorrow. I'm looking forward to watching those games. As my NBA watching goes, this: I care for the first week, then I don't care till Christmas, and then I don't care till All-Star break. Yeah,
you don't care till the
playoffs. Yeah, that's how it goes. I'm in full football mode right now, nigga. Yeah. I got a quarterback who my heart don't stop when the ball's in the air. So we got different things that I'm paying attention to right now. But
no, I'm happy for you, man. I'm my quarterback situation is
sorry,
a goddamn.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for Wos. I'm not sorry for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not sorry for Aaron Rodgers. This is a debacle of his making.
Right.
Of his making. Nathaniel Hackett stunk up the joint. and we said, let's
You know
make
what?
him offensive
Let's
coordinator.
make him offensive coordinator. He got fired in like 4 games in Denver, but let's bring him over. Like that's
Insane.
I forgot somebody. I think it's my homie Tashawn Reed, who covers the Raiders. He said, "Man, Devontae went from being 2-5 to 2-5 with the homies. That shit was funny as hell." That is very true. Waz, will you be hate watching the Yankees in the World Series?
Listen, it's so crazy, man. Like, and you guys understand this as Chicago natives, having 2 teams means that you root for one team and root for the demise of the other because you're in such close proximity to the other fans. And like, it's different with the Giants. Like, they've had success, much more success than the Jets, but Giants fans, they're not as arrogant
as Yankee fans.
Oh my God. Like, and so as much as like, the Dodgers like kicked us out and all of that shit, and like, I don't want to, like, I just can't. I can't root for the Yankees to win. I can't do it. I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it, man. Like, the whole, like, Yankee players can't have facial hair, and the 28 World Series and blah, blah,
put
blah,
jersey names on the back.
The fucking Derek Jeter up there on Fox after all of our games, pouring fucking salt on every single possible thing that we do. I really sat and thought about it last night, man, after we lost, and I was like, man, I can't root for the Yankees to do well. I can't do it.
And Derek Jeter's rings blind you from the fact that he was sitting next to the nigga that's always been better than him.
I hate him.
A-Rod has been better than that nigga since day one.
I hate Jeter
He
so
got
much,
ring
bro.
for protection. I actually like, but Derek Jeter's one of my favorite players, but I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I'm taking my 10-year Los Angeles residency and I'm putting on the table.
So have you completely given up on the White Sox? Or you just done with that? I see you wearing
until one or two things happen. I gave them niggas up 13 months ago. Until either unless they sell the team or Jerry Reinsdorf redacted, then I won't be coming back until one of those things happen. So
hey, Scott, did they have like one of the worst years ever in baseball? Like history?
The worst year. They set a record, 121 losses. A major league record. The niggas didn't win 40 games, bro. Like, look, the Bulls, I'm boycotting the Bulls, but they won so much when I was a child that I just can't fully give them up. But the White Sox, I can walk away from them niggas. If you're gonna bandwagon any team, at least bandwagon a team in the city that you lived in, okay? So everybody kiss my ass. Somebody's like, "Oh, are you gonna root for the Dodgers? Have you been to Leo's Tacos past 12 a.m.? I don't think you have. Get off my dick." But that's
Leo's.
That's not picking, man. But always good to have you on, my brother. Always good to have you on. Pavy, I know you'll be back on next week. Anything wise you wanna
man, just check out our coverage. Just check out our coverage at theringer.com. The NBA season, man. We getting back up. The group chat, Ringer NBA podcast, and check us out on In My Feelings on YouTube every single Friday. So yeah, that's it, y'all.
Pav, man. When is Hoops and Brews coming back? Well, what's up with the music? What's going on?
We're gonna do something this week. As far as the music goes, it'll be out soon. Just finish. I actually was supposed to go master it today, but I'm hungover, so I'm going.
He was too busy fucking. He was too busy vacationing in Europe. He was too goddamn busy drinking.
Nigga drinking tea in a small cup.
God, he's a tea expert.
Yeah, I saw on his Instagram.
Like,
bro, I got some good tea.
Bro, he has tea opinions now.
Tea opinions,
if
bro.
you're fucking Earl Grey tea drinking,
we went to some fucking fish and chip spot by like the British Museum. This nigga's like, I don't know. This isn't the exact fish and chip. This is like Korean fish and chips.
I'm done.
But look, literally, the spot had fish and chips, but also had like Korean fried chicken. This ain't where we're supposed to be at, bro.
It definitely looked like the spot that Carter was waiting out for Junetown Rush Hour 1. I'm not gonna lie.
So Pavy has turned into the tea and fish and chips guy that we've become when it comes to LA and tacos.
Yeah.
So now when we go to other places, we be like, these tacos aren't up to snuff. That's Pavy. with British culture. It's
You don't get
hilarious.
sriracha with your tacos? What is this?
But
That's
yeah,
what
man,
niggas
everything
be
will be
like.
out soon.
Definitely,
Salute,
man.
fellas, man. I'm happy to be on with y'all, man.
My dog.
Always good to talk to y'all. I'll holler at
All right,
y'all.
peace, y'all.
All right.
Yes, sir. We are going to wrap this up, man. Dante and Bang left. Bang had to take care of some business, and Dante as well. So we're going to wrap up this episode of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Big episode, man. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Shout out to Pavy. Shout out to Wos. Shout out to Kaz for joining us in the first hour. We will be back on Friday. It's the day before my birthday. I'll be 36 on Saturday, man. So send a super chat or something for your boy, whatever you gotta do. For those of you wondering about 79th and Hallis coverage, me and my brother will not be at the next two games. Will not be in DC because my birthday weekend, and I won't be doing work this weekend. I went to DC last year. I'll be in the Bears are gonna be in DC again next year, and then we won't be in Arizona as well. We'll be back covering the season. The week they play the New England Patriots, and then we're going to go through the rest of the season. We won't miss a game after that. So, but I will be at Hallis Hall Wednesday every week for the rest of the year regardless. So, just to check out for that, man. So, y'all can follow me at Barbchair Scott on all social media platforms, man. Follow JR Bang at JR Bang. Follow Dante at October Zone Tape. Follow Courtney 100 Caller Bro, and follow Mikey at Junior_Solito. Man, follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on all social media platforms. Follow HB Media at HB Media TV on Twitter and at HB Media on Instagram, and of course, subscribe to our Patreon, man. You can take your phone right up to the screen, the QR code will take you to the link, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. Subscribe to the $10 Barbers Chair access fee to get you a 25% off code on the Barbers Chair Network shop, man. That is bcnetshop.com, man. Get all of your I'm Not Gonna Hold You merch, Barbers Chair Network merch, 79th and Hallis merch, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. We got a doubleheader of Monday Night Football tonight, man. Should be some good football. NBA back tomorrow. World Series starts on Friday, so we're gonna have a lot to talk about on the Friday show. Y'all enjoy y'all night. I'm up out of here.